bring up anything negative because actually it's positive. Sometimes in life you go down the wrong path because you're actually on the right path. Does that make sense? Sometimes in life you're going in a direction, you're like, why am I here? But then you meet somebody amazing on that journey and you're like, that's why I was there. So that whole thing didn't really work out, but man, this worked out. So it's a crazy story for a lot of you to hear because this company Euphoria you're going to hear about is dominated by this man and the organization he's building. He's building roughly probably 40% of this whole company right now. We here in Vegas are a big part of Travis's team, but without Travis, none of you would know about this. So please give him a round of applause. But the real truth is credit goes to his wife. So let's back it up a second. His wife ended up introducing this to him. And he probably, I could only imagine when your wife brings something to you, you're like, yeah, honey, sure, you got something for me. But he took a long enough look at it, and then he sent me a message. I was the first person that Travis decided to share this business with you're going to hear about today. And I'm honored. You know, it's always great to be the first person. Yeah, raise your hand if you like being first. So I want to give you just a tip. We're training today. He's going to be doing all the training, and I'm going to give him the floor to do the best Euphoria presentation he can do, and he does the best presentation in the whole company, bar none, hands down. There's nobody better than this man at the presentation. So if you're taking notes, I'd advise you to do so. If you're not, you can always watch it back on Facebook. It'll be on our Facebook page, and you can learn from him. I study what he does, and then I duplicate what he did, and then that's how this business is growing. So you're going to learn from really the best in my opinion, the best in the whole company, guys, and maybe one of the best in the whole world when it comes to home-based business and network marketing. So back to our story. We're sitting side by side in a panel discussion of about 10 or 15 people. And there was one mic they were passing down, and I had to pass the mic to Travis. And I heard a lot about Travis from a good friend of mine I have named Joe Kennemore. He said, hey, Travis Flaherty's in that company too. I go, yeah, I keep hearing his name. And we end up sitting down next to each other a couple of days later. And he gave me that look right there, and we sat down next to each other. And it was like we were long lost brothers that moment. Right in that moment, him and I, it was absolute. He fell in love with me. It was amazing. And I've been actually telling people for years, I've got a man crush on this guy. I really do. So that company years ago, that company is no longer around, but him and I stayed in touch. And if you guys have been to TeamU.biz, which if you've never been there, write that down, TeamU.biz, or put it in your phone. That is our team central nervous system. It's our website. And in that introduction video on that site, I actually play the voice recording that he left me on Facebook. And you don't have to listen to it now, but here's what it sounded like. He said, hey, Michael, how you doing? This is Travis. Just wanted to reach out to you, see how you're doing, catch up with you. Also want to let you know about an interesting project I'm working on. And then he proceeded to tell me, listen, this thing is ground floor. Nobody knows about it. I think it's going to be the biggest story of 2019. And based on the people involved, the timing of it, and the nature of the product, it's this DNA nutrition. And I got to tell you, there's nothing in the world like it. I've never seen anything like it. Am I doing a good rendition of your video? If you've watched the audio, listen, I played it so many times for people like you that I'm starting to master his introduction to me, which is duplication. But he did such a beautiful job of just saying, Mike, listen, I don't know if you're open, but if you're open, I'd like you to take a look at something. And after that voice message, like I said, he's a master of getting people attracted to it's what he says. It's how he says it. And I'm in my office with 4 projects on my plate. How many people here are busy and they've got a lot of things going on in their life? You're the best person to introduce Euphoria to. I didn't have 5 minutes to spare in my day. But after listening to his message, I found a way to squeeze about 18 to 20 hours into my day to work on this project. What I'm saying is, I wasn't looking for something, but I'm always open to looking. I wasn't looking. And I think a lot of people are not looking, but if you take a look at this, you should always be open for something like this, because I think we're on the ground floor of what I believe is the Microsoft of nutrition companies. And there's nobody in the world that's going to tell you about this better than Travis. So he introduced this to me. When I heard about this, I got excited. I met the CEO because he put me right on the phone with Ron Williams immediately on September 25th. And after 4 days, I was sitting face to face with the owner of this company. Didn't know it, but my whole life, my whole path was about to change. And it was all due in part to this man having the courage and really just caring enough about me to share this with me. And that's what this is really all about. So if you're a guest here today, you're hearing a story about one man who lives in Arizona, sharing it with a man who lives in Vegas, who is always open to businesses and opportunities. And that man really changed my path. As a matter of fact, I give him a new, very important title in my life. For those of you that know me, I'm an author of a concept called Path Changers. Yeah? Some of you know that? Path Changer is the power to radically and positively change someone's path. including your own. So years ago, a perfect stranger changed my path. I went on to become a very successful home-based business entrepreneur, made millions of dollars, broke over $100,000 a month. I don't say this to brag or boast, just letting you know that if a perfect stranger didn't change my path years ago and say, hey, would you like to take a look at a business? I wouldn't be here with all of you. And thousands and tens of thousands of lives wouldn't have changed. In my book, Path Changers, which I hope to finish in the near future, there are certain people in my life that have come into my path that were instrumental in drastically changing it. As a matter of fact, while I'm saying that to all of you, can you think of one person right now in your life that came into your life that changed your path? Raise your hand if you could think of one person. I think if you're doing life right, there should be multiple people. So he came into my life in 2018. Once again, I was the first person he called. He shared Üforia with me, and now you get to hear him share it with you. He's the top rep in the whole company. He's a creator. He's unbelievable. You're going to fall in love with him. Just don't stare in his eyes too long because it's a bad thing to do. Travis Flaherty. Okay, so today's a training. I want to do a little training. He's going to teach you mostly. But when someone comes up in front of the room, there's this kind of clap, and then there's this clap. So give it up again for Travis Flaherty.
You ever having a bad day, just let Michael introduce you and you feel so much better about yourself? Man, what an introduction. First of all, let's give it up for Shasta and Jessica's home. What a lovely home. Thank you. Thank you for just welcoming all of us to your home. We really appreciate it. And I want to say thank you to Michael. I was telling him this on the way here, and I wasn't saying it just to make him feel better about himself. I've never in 15 years witnessed someone like Michael. He is one of the most heart-driven, passionate people that I know, and he's one of the best culture driver that I've ever witnessed in 15 years. I've never witnessed someone that can drive a market the way that he does, and to be able to teach and train. You guys are very blessed and very fortunate to be able to have him as a leader and as a mentor. So I would like to give him a round of applause, because without him, this wouldn't be possible. And without each and every one of you, there's so many wonderful leaders that are here. And I want to just say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys are incredible. This team is the fastest growing team in the entire company by far. You guys are killing it right now. Las Vegas, I mean, what do you guys have? 600, 700, almost approaching 1,000 people in this market. That's insane. That's crazy. And it's all because of you guys going out there and just sharing your energy, your contagious enthusiasm. So I want to share my story with you. I want you guys to know that I'm not comfortable up here. I have anxiety about speaking in front of people. And I share that because I want you to know that you don't have to be this amazing, dynamic speaker to do this business. I have gum in my mouth because my mouth gets dry when I get nervous. I have water right here because I get nervous. And I want you to know that because, you know, sometimes, and I did this too when I first started, you sit there and go, oh, I could never speak like them, or I could never do this or that. I want you to know that I mean, literally the night before coming out here, I couldn't sleep because I was nervous about coming here. That's truly who I am. And the fact that my wife is not here with me, she's my social butterfly that makes it okay for me. Like whenever we go somewhere, events and I get nervous about it. And so as long as Summer's on my side, I'm okay. And on Friday, the day we were supposed to drive out here, our son had a tooth issue come up that was kind of a surprise. And it's hard to be the mom sometimes because she's the caregiver of our family. And he had to go under anesthesia. And because of that, she didn't want to leave him. So she wanted me to let you guys know that she's grateful and that she wanted to be here. But our children, our family always comes first. So Summer, if you're watching, I love you. And I wish that you were here with me because you make it a lot easier when you're here. So I want to share a little story with you. So a little bit about my background. So I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always had a challenge with somebody buying my efforts wholesale and then going out and selling those efforts retail, making money off of me while I build their future. Anybody ever relate to that? I've always struggled with that. So I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I started off right out of high school. My senior year in high school, I started a pressure washing company. I got in a car accident and I got in a little settlement. I think I got like $4,000. And so I ordered a 3,000 PSI pressure washer. Had no idea what I was doing with it. Had a little jet wash, a little wand, and it came, and I said, I'm going to start a business with this. So I went down to the local Circle K. Their sidewalks were filthy. And I asked them if I could clean their sidewalks. And they said, sure, kid. Sure. I guess you've got gum everywhere. So I literally, they said, you got to do it at night when nobody's here. So I came back that night and I learned how to use this pressure washer. I actually carved a little bit in their sidewalk at first because I didn't know what I was doing. But I cleaned their concrete and I cleaned it all night long. And the next day I went back and the district manager happened to be there and he said, are you the kid that cleaned the sidewalk? And I said, I am. And he goes, could you do it for 16 more stores? I says, absolutely, but I'm not going to do it for free. And so we started a company called Advanced Pressure Wash. I had enrolled in college, Mesa Community College. I played baseball, thought I was going to be a professional player like everybody else at one point in my career. But I hurt my arm, and so I was kind of lost in my life. And I went to college, and I went for my first class, and I sat there for about 30 minutes, and I couldn't do it. I literally was just thinking, I want to be out there learning. I want to learn a business. How are they going to teach me business if they don't own a business? I really want to be out there. No disrespect to anybody that went to college. I believe in education, but it wasn't for me. And so I left before the first hour was done and I never went back. You can imagine how my dad felt. I'll tell you a little bit more about that a little later on today. But I left and I remember my friends saying to me, what are you going to do? You're just going to clean concrete the rest of your life? And I says, no, I'm going to hire you guys and I'll put you through college. And they put me into my first house. That was when I started to learn the concept of leverage. And so they put me in my first house by the time I was 19. And shortly after that, I had a pretty good offer to sell that. And I got involved in the health club industry. Started a little personal training studio and started building that and ended up with a boutique gym and then a second one and a third one and a fourth one and a fifth one and ended up in the gym business. We sold that. And we moved to Utah. And I had no idea that Utah was like the Mecca of network marketing. Like it is the Mecca. Like I remember driving in with my big U-Haul truck and we start coming into the, Provo, and I look up and there's just this huge building on the left and it was, what is it? It's New Skin or New Ways. And it like sets the tone for the hundreds of network marketing companies. And I just remember thinking there was a big shell on it, I think. And I'm like, I wonder what that is. And so it wasn't long before we moved into this neighborhood and man, I thought everybody was so friendly. Everybody was just, we kept getting dinner invitations. I was like, this is great. So we started getting these dinner invitations and after dinner, they would pull out a whiteboard and they'd start drawing bubbles on a board. And I'm like, what is this? And that was my first introduction to network marketing. Prior to that, back in the 80s, I remember my mom did Melaleuca, and it was a Super Bowl party. And this will tell you how long ago it was because the Bengals were in the Super Bowl against the 49ers. So it was a while ago. And I remember at halftime, my mom walks out with a basket full of soap and deodorant and all this different toothpaste. And she starts trying to sell it to people at our Super Bowl party. And I went up to my dad and I'm like, what is she doing? He's like, that's network marketing. I'm like, note to self, don't ever do that. So that's all I knew about network marketing. So I already had a bad taste and a bad stigma in my mouth. How many of you kind of were a little like, I don't know about this when you first heard about it, right? It has a little bit of a weird stigma. We're getting over that stigma. A lot of that has to do with us being professionals. So I was invited to look at the opportunity and, I kind of resisted at first. And then my neighbor got involved and he was somebody that I trusted and I respected. And sometimes it just takes that one person that you respect to share it with you. Because I had a lot of people that invited me to look at the opportunity, but it wasn't until he got involved that I said, man, if he's doing this and he's successful, why would he be doing this? Maybe I should look at this. So he invited me to take a closer look. And what I found was not at all what I perceived. What I found was an opportunity to be able to start building this additional residual income stream. And up to that point in my life, we had always been entrepreneurs. And as an entrepreneur, you live by the sword and you also die by the sword. Right? It's feast or famine. You're up and then you're down and you're up and you're down and you're dealing with a lot of emotional issues when you have emotional challenges, employee challenges. Anybody have any employees? You know what that's like? So for me, I never really experienced that true freedom. To me, freedom is being able to do the things that you want to do rather than the things that you have to do. And I'd never experienced that. I mean, I was able to, set my own schedule, but, I worked 80 to 100 hours a week. I was married to my business. In fact, when we owned the gyms, I would open the gyms at 5, 6 in the morning, and I would close the gyms. And so I was there all the time. And Summer would bring our little children in just so that that's how I, to see me, because I didn't get a chance to be at home. And I would bring work home with me. And so I decided to give this a shot, and I got involved, and I got involved part-time like most people. I was kind of dabbling with it. At that point, we were doing okay financially. So I always joke and I say that the money that came in from our network marketing business was Summer's shoe money, because she could just do what she wanted with it because we were paying the bills. But here's what happened. So the first year, part-time, kind of dabbling with it, we made about $30,000 that first year. Would an extra $30,000, by the way, make a difference in your household right now? Would it make a difference in most households right now? Network marketing is built around that premise of just helping people get to an extra $500 to $1,000 per month and then building on that. Do you know that an extra $500 a month would cut the divorce rate in half? What's the number one reason that people get a divorce? Finances. So we're making a little bit of extra income. Second year, we did a little bit better. We probably made about $50,000, and it started to get interesting because there I was working our traditional business, and we had shifted businesses, and we were in a lead generation business at the time. And, I'm still going to work and all those overhead and expenses and getting this residual income that just keeps coming. And then somebody started talking about subprime loans not performing well on Wall Street. 2007, 2008, and everything just fell apart. We had taken all the money that we had made on our traditional businesses, and we decided to go into real estate, the safest investment that you could ever be in. And so we decided to start buying land, and then we decided we were going to become home builders and start building homes. And we lost everything just overnight. Lost millions of dollars just like that. I mean, we were building homes for, high-end homes for $800,000 to $1 million on a lake, and we sold them all for like $200,000. So it was bad investment. So we lost everything, and it was one of the most humbling experiences that I've ever been through in my life. Anybody ever been there before? Every one of us. And so we lost our home. I remember walking out of a grocery store and watching my car get towed away out of the parking lot, got repossessed. I remember hiding my car, my only car that we had left, in my neighbor's garage because I didn't want the tow truck driver to find it. My electric would get shut off. And then I would do everything. And I don't know if you've ever been through this, but when your electric gets shut off, not only do you have to pay for the bill, but then they want a huge deposit on top of it to get it to turn back on again. I'm like, I didn't have enough to pay the bill. Now you want a deposit? And then when I would get that back on, the gas would get shut off. So this is literally what I'm dealing with. My gas got shut off in the middle of the winter, living in Utah, and it was freezing inside my home one night. It was about 50 degrees. I remember looking at the thermometer, and we had young children, little babies. So we got sleeping bags and put them all together in our bedroom, and we said we were going to have a little camp out. And we pretended that we were camping, when in all reality, we just had to have everybody sleep with us just to keep each other warm. It's where I was, and when I really got started in this business. On top of that, I broke my knee at that same period of time. I fell into a window well and shattered my patella into about 5 pieces. And they told me that they didn't know if I'd ever be able to walk again without a cane. So here I am, 30 years old. Don't ever say, "Can it get any worse than this?" Just don't ever say that. Because 6 weeks later, I go on a getting started training for a brand new rep who was the kindergarten teacher for one of my daughters. Their Rottweiler, 3-legged Rottweiler, tries to attack me, and I broke my knee again 6 weeks later. So talk about just a cloud over you, right? I mean, don't ever say it can't get any worse than this. So there we are. I can't even really get out of bed anymore. I'm on this machine where it's going up and down just to keep my leg moving. And Summer comes home and she says, and we're trying to get this network marketing thing going, and we're barely making enough money to put food on the table. I remember calling my mom, and I said, "Listen, can you order me a pizza?" She lived in Arizona. And I said, I can't feed the kids tonight. Can you just order us pizza? And I share this with you because this is where we were. And I want you guys to know something. Sometimes you go through challenges in life to push you down a different path to exactly where you're supposed to be. So because of all of this, I just said, you know what? We've been dabbling with this network marketing thing for a couple of years. We've been dabbling with it. And it's time that we stop dabbling, because this is the only thing that we have. I'm laying in bed and Summer comes home and I'm depressed. I mean, I'm in a serious state of depression at this point in my life. And And so Summer comes home and she says, there's this new thing called the Facebook. The Facebook. You should get on it, because I couldn't go out and meet anybody. You should get on it and just start connecting with people. It was 2008-ish. And so I joined the Facebook and I start friending all of my former high school friends. And the first thing I did, man, is I threw up on every single one of them. Every post was about my opportunity, about my opportunity. Literally, my friends thought I was crazy. The ones that did stick around were like, Travis is in a pyramid scheme. Oh my gosh, do you hear what Travis is doing? Because I didn't know what I was doing. Slowly but surely, we started to dig out of that hole. And that next year, I had to go get a job. I worked in a cubicle, and I sold for a lady by the name of Laurel Langmeyer. She wrote a book called The Millionaire Maker. And I worked in a cubicle during the days, and I hated every minute of it. I hated every minute of it. I hadn't had a job since I was 17 years old, 16 years old. But I had to go provide for my family. And so I was selling coaching, and there was this guy that was over me, and he kept telling me every time I'd get on a phone call, I always thought I was pretty good at sales. And he would come over and he'd hit me with a ruler. And he'd say, stop selling and ask more questions. Stop selling, ask more questions. And so this went on for like 6 months. And I got to the point where I no longer would pitch people. Nobody wants to be pitch slapped. Would you agree? Like, nobody wants to be pitch slapped. So I would stop. I finally got, I had an aha moment where I finally realized that it's not about me, and it's not about me trying to sell or close or pitch anybody. It's about helping people go from where they are to where it is that they want to go. And the only way you can do that is by asking questions and listening. And so during that time, the only time that we had to build our network marketing business was late in the evening and on the weekends. And I had to utilize social media. And so I started putting out content. I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't understand content marketing. But as I would learn, I'd go to a training on the weekends, and I'd learn, and I'd take as many notes as I possibly could. And I'd come home and I'd film a little video of me in front of my little flip. You remember the little flip things? And I'd film, and I'd put it out there on social media. And I'd just wait and hope that people would watch it. And they were terrible. Some of these videos are still out there and around. Every now and then they show up in my feeds. And then I'd go to another training, and I'd come back and I'd act like it was mine. And I'd tell everybody, here's how you contact an invite. Here's the 8 steps to contacting and inviting. Eric Worre was teaching that 10 years ago. And I'd do a little video and I'd put it out there. And slowly but surely what happened was I started to attract like-minded individuals. And then I'm like, well, I want to start sharing a little bit about me, because people do business with people that they like, and people do business with people they trust. And so I started to share my story, my family story. And Summer and I would travel to a town on the weekends, and we would do this. And then we traveled to another town, and we would take our children with us. We would do something called executive appointments, where back then we would run ads in like Craigslist or in the newspapers. And a lot of times people thought they were responding to a job ad. It was, bait and switch back then. And we were just kind of how we were taught in the early days. And so I would have the whole team set appointments for us, and we would come into town, and I would sit in a hotel lobby, and I would do one appointment after another. And I would literally just have a flip chart presentation. And what would happen is they would always pre-qualify the person, and they would edify the heck out of me. So by the time the person would come and sit down with me, they feel like, okay, this person is somebody credible. And I would give a presentation, and we would close 4 to 5 people a day. And I did this all around the country. It's how I built my business, but it's also how I learned how to present. It's through spaced repetition. I wasn't always a great presenter. It's just that I had to learn. And so how do you learn? You just go out and do it. And so I started doing these presentations, and slowly but surely, I started to create a little bit of income. And I remember about 6 months into this job, realizing that what I was selling wasn't really, the fulfillment on the back end wasn't there. I feel like the delivery wasn't matching the amount of money that people were paying for this type of coaching. And there's nothing worse than just feeling like, I don't want to do this anymore. And we were just barely kind of teeter-tottering financially. Our network marketing business would be like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 one month, and then I'd make like $600 the next month, right? It was, it's up and down. And so I remember waking up and I said to Summer, I just can't do this anymore. I can't go and sell for this person that I don't really believe in what they're doing. Nothing against Laurel Langmeyer, but the coaching on the back end just wasn't there. And she says, Travis, quit. I said, but we're finally getting out of our hole financially. She said, quit. She says, I believe in you. And I want you to know something. There's nothing more powerful than a spouse that believes in you. Nothing. even when you don't believe in yourself. And I'm grateful for Summer for that. And so I did. I quit. And she says, we're just going to make this work. And we went to work. I'm telling you guys, we shared the plan anywhere and everywhere. We continued to share ourselves on social media. We would share our family, like we were putting our family out there because we are family first in everything that we do. And I wanted to attract like-minded individuals that shared the same beliefs and wishes and values as I do. And so it would be on social media, it'd be like family, 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 video about something that I just learned, and then, inspiration, quote, 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 and then left hook. Let me tell you about my business. And then I'd go back to my family, family, family. And this is what I did on social media. And pretty soon I started to attract other people that shared the same wishes as I did. And that's how we started to build our business on social media. But at the same time, we were traveling every weekend and going out there and doing what we're doing right now. And we were able to replace our income that we had with our traditional business. It took about 16 months for us to get to that point. During that 16 months, electric was being shut off, gas was being shut off, and it was hard. And it's listen, this is not an easy business. I'm not going to lie to you. Anybody that stands up here and, hi, birthday girl. Anybody that stands up here and tells you this is easy, they're lying. I think the number one reason that people leave network marketing is because people set false expectations. This is a business, just like any other business. It requires hard work and smart work and dedication and commitment and perseverance. You got to step outside of your comfort level, which is where you grow the most. And slowly but surely, we started to make it in this industry. I think it was right at around 2010 or 2011, an article came out, and they called us the first family of network marketing. And I was very proud of that. And since that time, we've been able to travel the world, creating amazing life experiences with the people that I love and care about most because of this industry. My children, we've been able to, they've been on all kinds of different countries around the world. And this industry has allowed us to be able to have time freedom. My daughter, Tuscany, it was a little while ago now, but I remember her coming home from school and she says, Dad, I was at somebody else's house after school the other day and their parents were at work. And I forgot that people's parents have to go to work every day. She said, because I'm just so used to you and Mom being at home every single day. And that to me is what this business is about. That right there. My children don't know any different. So during that time, over the last several years, we've been in multiple companies. Sometimes things change and they don't work out the way that we anticipate that they do, but the dream has always stayed the same. This is the vehicle. Sometimes the vehicles break down. Sometimes you have to get into a new vehicle, but the dream has always been the same. And the dream for me, I got into this business, and I want you to hear this, and I want you to write this down if you're taking notes. I got into this business because of the money. No question. I needed to make some money. But what I learned is it's about who you become in the process and who you help along the way. The money is a byproduct of those two things. I'm going to say that again. I got into this business because of the money. What I found is this business is about who you become in the process and who you help along the way. The money is a byproduct of those two things. I got into the business because of the money. What I found was it's not about the money. It's about who you become in the process and who you help along the way. The money is a byproduct of those two things. If you want to earn more, you have to become more. Jim Rohn, very simple. Dollars follow value. If you want to earn more, it's all about how much value do you bring? How much value do you bring to your community, to your family, to your team? I heard the words, the guy with the marker always makes the most money. Guess what I grabbed as soon as I walked into this room? Seriously. I figured I couldn't speak. The first time that I was asked to speak, they asked me to speak on we had a Wednesday morning national call, kind of like our Monday night freedom call. And I was invited to share my testimony for 2 minutes. I was having a little bit of success, and so they highlighted me. I was spotlighted on the call. And so they asked me, I think it was a Sunday, I got the text, can you speak on Wednesday's call? And I said, sure. I didn't sleep Sunday night, Monday night, or Tuesday night because I had to give a 2-minute testimonial on the Wednesday morning call. And it wasn't Zooms back then. It was just a conference call. That's how nervous that I was. But I did it. And when I was done, I remember getting a few texts from team members, and especially my upline, saying I did a great job. And man, that felt so good. I was like, yeah, I did it. And so then be careful, because if you do good on that, you know what comes next, right? LW, you know exactly what comes next. Hey, can you do the presentation, right? So then I was asked to do the presentation in Provo, Utah. Again, they asked me on a Sunday. I wish they'd asked me just the day before, because I didn't sleep for several days. The presentation was on Wednesday night. So when I literally thought about every excuse that I could. I'm going to be sick, or somebody's sick, so I can't make it, trying to figure out how to get out of doing the presentation. But I finally decided to face my fears, and I did it. And I went to Provo, and it was about 6:30, and here's what he said to me. I said, well, is there a lot of people there? He goes, oh, it's like 7 to 10 people that show up in this meeting. I'm like, oh, I can do 7 to 10 people, because I don't have to stand in front of a room with a mic. When you get this, and all of a sudden you're in front of a room and everyone's looking at you, it kind of freaks you out, right? So I figured I could just sit in a circle with chairs and get 6 or 7 people. I show up and there's 100 people sitting there waiting. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my heart dropped. I walked into the room, my mouth starts getting dry. I didn't know what to do. It gets about 7:05 and somebody walks over and goes, you think it's about time we get started? I'm like, okay. So I go up there, I'm shaking. I make Summer sit in the front row because I could look at her. And she has my water, and I go to start talking, and I can't get my lips to unstick from each other because they're so dry. So now I'm like, okay, I got to take a drink of water. So Summer's holding water. I was preparing for that. So I go to grab the water, and I go to take a drink, and my hand starts shaking, and I spill water on myself. But I did the presentation. I did it. And you know what? When I was done, people came up and said, nice job. You did a really good job. And what I learned is this is not about like your presentation skills. You know what it's about? It's about speaking from the heart. That's how you connect with people. So if you have a fear of speaking in front of people, just know that's a selfish proposition, because that's about you and thinking about, you're thinking introspective. You're thinking about yourself when it's really about everybody else that came. And so I started to realize that. And so in closing this story with you guys, and we'll get into the presentation, we've been able to create an amazing lifestyle. It hasn't always been easy. We've had to rebuild a few times, but that's entrepreneurship. I got into consulting. I love the startup. I love the creation. I'm a true entrepreneur at heart. And I got on the consulting side, and I started consulting for a few companies, helping them to go through rebranding and relaunches and create their systems of duplication. And part of that was there wasn't anything out there in the industry that got me excited. There's some great companies in network marketing, but I don't know how many weight loss coffee companies can be out there. Like, they come out every couple of weeks, and then, CBD oil. Like, there's been 50 CBD oil companies launched in the last 12 months. And so I was just kind of sitting back, bored and waiting and watching. And Summer comes to me, and she says, I just got an inbox from Candy Williams. Candy Williams is Ron Williams' wife. And she shared this little video called Blind Nutrition. It was the power, what is it? The one for you with me. And it's had this concept called DNA nutrition. And at the time, she was interested because we have some young children. We have 6 children total, so 3 boys and 3 girls. But our 3 and our 8-year-old, if it's not chicken nuggets or grilled cheese or macaroni and cheese, they don't want to eat it. And so it's always a struggle trying to get them to eat their vegetables. And Summer's, there's always a battle at the table. So at first, when she saw this, she thought, well, maybe this is a way that I can get nutrients into our kids. That's the only reason she really even watched it. But then it caught her attention, and she went out on the web and started searching. But there was no websites, there were no blogs, there was no information at all. So she ends up on YouTube, and she finds this video that was uploaded 36 hours prior. It had 26 views, and it's of Ron Williams and Eric Worre talking about this new company called Üforia that they're going to launch. And so she's thinking, why is Eric Worre on this video? For those of you that don't know, Eric Worre is the #1 trainer in the world when it comes to network marketing. He just, he went to Europe and put 65,000 people in a Coliseum that showed up to see him speak. So he's definitely a key influencer. And this was at his home, and he never puts his name on any companies. And so Summer watches this, and she gets excited, and she brings this to me, and she's like, you've got to see this. You really should take a look at this. Now, how many of you have been in a place where you didn't want to watch something because you just didn't want to like it? Because you knew if you liked it, you'd have to act on it. I didn't want to watch it. So, some time went by. I think a day went by, and I didn't want to watch it. And the next day, my daughter was having her wisdom teeth pulled, and we're sitting there waiting in the waiting room, and she just pulls it up and presses play and goes, here, you need to watch this. And puts the presentation in front of me. So I watch it. And when I'm done, I said, I want you to email Candy and get me on the phone with Ron right away. So we got on the phone with Ron, and I said, look, Ron, this all sounds great, but I need to know that this is real. I need to know that this is not just some concept. Because if you have what you truly say you have, then this is probably going to be the biggest story in network marketing, and it could potentially change the supplement industry as a whole. Everything I'm hearing, it sounds good, but I need to see it. So we got on a plane, and I went and I met with Ron. And quite frankly, at that time, I was thinking consulting, like, well, maybe I can help this company launch. And so that was kind of the angle that I was going at. I went and I met with these guys, and he starts talking about this guy, Terry LaCour. And Terry LaCour, for those of you that don't know, has been in the industry for 30 years. He has built to the #1 position in a company before starting a company called Market Vision in '96, which is the #1 most sought after back-end software support system in network marketing today. He then started LaCour Enterprises in 2002, which is one of the largest fulfillment centers in the world for network marketing. If you've been there, it's the size of an Amazon distribution center. There's 600 employees that are there. It is unbelievable. It's a $1 billion enterprise. They have warehousing and distribution points around the world. And Terry has also been an investor in a number of companies. And in fact, the last couple of years, last 6 years, he's launched 2 companies that have gone to $500 million in sales per year. So this is a who's who kind of guy. And Ron says, listen, I'm going to admit it. I'm really good at messaging and language and marketing and creation. Ron's the creator. He says, but back end is not my thing. He says, Terry LaCour is actually the one that's handling all the back end. He's the one that bought the technology. He has the rights to the technology. He's the one that built the machine and invested millions of dollars called the Nutritionator to make this all possible. And we have partnered up on this. And now I'm thinking, okay, that's a great partnership. And then I says, well, what's Eric Worre got to do with this? He says, Eric Worre, we wanted to have a little bit of a different relationship with him. So we approached him and said, look, we want you to be the head trainer of this company. Show me a company with good training and I'll show you a great company. And Eric said yes. It's the first time that he's ever said that before. And Eric Worre's not a distributor in our company, but what I will tell you is he would have not put his name on this company if he did not know where it was going. And so he got involved. And so now I'm looking at the synergy of these 3 people involved, and I'm getting excited. I went there to get these guys to buy into me as a consultant. And now I'm flying home on a plane, and I said, well, Summer, maybe this can be your thing, and I'll support you, and I'll keep doing what I'm doing. I had a consulting contract on the table that was pretty big, and I was getting ready to sign it. And I came home, and I just couldn't. I'm laying in bed at night, and I just keep thinking about DNA Nutrition and how big this is going to be. So the next day, I pick up my phone, and I look at my Facebook, and Michael Zappia is right there. And I'm like, man, I've always wanted to work with him. Hey, Michael, I've got something. I don't know if you're open right now, but I've got something. And I said consulting because at the time I still didn't even know where I was. I says, Michael, I've got something that I've come across, and I don't know if you're open right now, but listen, I think that this is going to be the biggest thing in the network marketing industry. And let me tell you why. Because Ron Williams, because of Eric Worre, because of Terry LaCour. And you know what? I just would love to be able to send you a little video just to take a look. I don't want to send it without your permission. And I did it in a voice message. I didn't write it out. Why? Because that would have been. Life is treating you amazing. It's been a little while. Just wanted to catch up with you. Wanted to also let you know of an interesting project that's come across my desk. As you may know, I do a little consulting in this space, and I've been working on a project behind the scenes that I think just has some pretty big potential, primarily because of the people that are involved. This is the first company that Eric Worre has ever agreed to be the head trainer over.
It was 3 parts.
60 seconds.
How he got me to listen to 3
I learned Facebook only gives you 60 seconds.
And you've got Terry LaCour, who started Prove It and Lavelle and a number of other companies, and Ron Williams from Forever Green that have come together on a project. Anyhow, they've come together on a project.
And still going.
I gotta tell you, it's unlike anything that I've ever seen. Typically when I do consulting, I don't usually get that excited. I just go in and do work for them and help them with comp plans or whatever the case might be. But I've been under a non-disclosure. Nobody knows about this company yet. It actually launches in January of 2019. Ron and Eric just did a video from Eric Worre's house last week. And man, as I watch this thing from behind the scenes and the people that are involved, they're.
Sounds so weird listening to yourself.
In my mind, this will be the biggest story of next year. And no one knows about it yet. So I'm just sharing it with a few key influencers. You know, I don't know what my level of involvement's going to be. I mean, we're still crushing it in crypto, but I got a ton of people that just don't understand crypto or they're not interested in it that I could definitely direct over here. And crypto or they're not interested in it that I could definitely direct it. Anyways, man, I don't know if the timing is right for you.
I'm rambling. This is my first message.
At all even looking or open to looking, but I just thought because of the people that are involved, the timing, and the nature of the product, it's, I mean, I just got to tell you, it's this DNA nutrition, and there's nothing else out there like this. I just know this is going to be a hit. So anyways, just wanted to know if you wanted to be on the ground floor of something that I think has huge potential. It's going to be a big story. I can shoot you over that webinar. It hasn't
even been launched yet.
Hasn't even been launched yet.
So can I see the marker for a second?
Yes.
The guy with the marker makes the most money.
He wants it back.
So I want to point something out real quick. You guys are in the room with basically the two first people to get involved with this company.
Yeah.
I want to point that out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys understand what that really means, but I'm sorry. Yeah, you were there. I know. But for now, Hallie, it's not about you. But come on up here. It's Hallie first. I'm just kidding around. Hallie and I went and visited Rob. But the reason why I'm jumping in here for a second is I want you guys to know what's really happening here. How many of you would have given anything to be on the ground floor of Facebook with Mark Zuckerberg in his dorm room? How many of you, given an opportunity to go back to the beginning of the cell phone days when the phone was to be this big, would have opened an accessory store or done something with cell phones? We're on the ground floor of a revolution in nutrition, and he brought this to me first, and then I brought this to Hallie, and then now we've got about 5,000 people. You're approaching 5,000 people. There's only 20,000 people in the world that know about Üforia. And here's the United States and Canada, and here's Europe that's about to open in about 60 days, and here's the rest of the world. There's 20,000 measly people in the world that know about this, and Travis is approaching close to 5,000 people in his network, and you all have brought in close to 2,000 people. So TeamU is responsible for about 10% of this 20,000. Travis is doing 25% of the global volume in Üforia, and you're all sitting on the ground floor of something that we believe by Christmas is going to be $100 million company.
Amen. In that invitation, first of all, would any of you been offended by that invitation if you got that message in your inbox? Is there any one of you that have been like, oh, I'm not talking to him for a year? Was there anybody? Would you have at least appreciated that you had the opportunity to take a look at it? You see, somebody blessed your life with this opportunity, but yet we get in our own heads about sharing it with others, don't we? I share that with you because I want you to put yourself into the perspective of if you got that message, would you have been offended? And think about that when it comes time to sharing this with others. You know, I'm at the point now where I believe in this so much that I tell people, listen, I just don't want you to come back to me 6 months from now and say, why didn't you tell me about this when it was happening? You know, I more than anything, I just want to cross you off the list. I know this probably isn't for you, but I just need to make sure and let you know what's happening. Well, what do you mean it's not for me? Right? So I went from not knowing my involvement to leaving that message to completely on fire within about 72 hours. This all happened. I mean, it's so fun to listen to that message because at that message, I even said it. I don't even know what my involvement's going to be yet. But I believe that my excitement. True. True.
Not taking credit for Travis, but he needed validation that what he was looking at was as big as he kind of thought it was. I freaked out when he told me about this. I was in my office and I lost my marbles. I'm like, oh my God. Because when I watched that same YouTube video that he sent me, when I watched that video, he watched it when there was 20-some people.
26 views.
26 views. If Eric Worre goes to the bathroom and puts it on Facebook or YouTube, it gets 26 views in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, true.
He sends me the video of Ron and Eric sitting down doing a 40-minute presentation, and I was the 63rd person to watch it. 63. It's incredible to know where we are right now, yeah?
So I asked Ron, and this was kind of one of the things that sealed the deal for me. I says, Ron, Why have I not heard about this company? I mean, typically when companies launch, they let the buzz out almost a year in advance, at least 6 months in advance. They start leaking it, something big's coming. You know, they'll typically go hire a master distributor, and then that master distributor goes and gets a bunch of, you know, he calls them generals or she calls them generals, and they'll typically have sometimes deals for those people as influencers, and literally by the time that the company pre-launches, there's 5,000 people in the company and you don't know it. That's typically how a network marketing company launches. So Ron says to me, you know, we decided that we didn't want to have a political pecking order here. We didn't want to go just get one master distributor. And he says, you know, I just didn't want to do that. He calls it kissing the ring. If you've ever heard him give a presentation, that's what he means by that. He says, we decided we wanted an even playing field for everybody. So we decided to quietly build this. You know, they've been building it took 2 years to build the Nutritionator. During that time, they're putting messaging and language together, and you know, Ron gets involved and he starts doing his beautiful creativity and all the things he does. And they decided to just announce it by launching a video on YouTube. And I saw it 24 hours later with 26 views. That's how they announced this company. Guys, that was only 7 months ago. That was only 7 months ago. You know, every company goes through a few different stages. They start off in you know, pre-launch stage, kind of conceptual. They were just getting things together. Then they go into the pre-launch phase. Then they start to hit that momentum, and then they hit stabilization. We haven't even hit momentum yet. That's how early you are. And I learned long ago that if you can position yourself in the beginning stages with a company that has all of the signs of becoming one of the next giants in the industry, there's a lot of money that can be made. There's a lot of money that can be made. So for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, I'm just going to touch on the technology and the impact of this product for a moment. So this all starts with this DNA kit here. This DNA kit, first of all, it's beautiful. The branding, what do you guys think of the branding of this company? It's incredible. We don't look like a company that is a brand new company at all. The infrastructure, to the look, to the feel, to the tools that we have. So inside of this DNA kit, you have a pre-trition, which is your first 30 days. It's a mild, gentle cleanse. I say mild and gentle for a reason. It's not, you know, you're not going to be running to the restroom every couple of minutes. I've been on those cleanses before. It has it's our base formulation of ingredients before your actives get put in there, addressing your specific SNPs. Has digestive enzymes, has prebiotics that target your gut health. Your gut is kind of the epicenter of your overall health. Some people call it your second brain. There's definitely a connection between your gut and your brain. That's important. And so it's getting your body prepared. Another ingredient in there, if you don't know what AC11 is, just make a note to go Google the health benefits of AC11. Unbelievable product that is clinically proven to regrow telomeres. Telomeres, as you get older, they get shorter, they fray at the end, and that's where aging comes from. It's one of the only known substances on the planet that actually will regrow your telomeres. That's unbelievable. That's a key ingredient in this product. I would take that product alone, just that product alone. If you look at the ingredients, if we were to go out and buy just these ingredients that are in our base formulation, if you were just to go buy each individual bottle, you'd spend $765 on that product. That is unbelievable. You know, we've been subscribing to this blind nutrition philosophy for almost 8 decades. Around the 30s and 40s, somebody came out with RDAs, and the whole concept of RDAs was to keep our soldiers healthy. What do they need to just be healthy? What's interesting is those RDAs haven't even changed much. Absolutely, but still, if my wife and I go into Costco and buy multivitamins, it tells us both to take the exact amount. Does that make sense to you? Absolutely not. So we're just guessing. Spirulina and bone broth, thousands of dollars of stuff. Most people try that and they hear mine. lay on the front end and ask you questions based on which bucket you fall in, packaged vitamins based on which category you fall in. It's a step in the right direction, but is it customized? No. How much is too not enough? And then, of course, finally, we have nutrition that's made by you and only for you. It allows you to be able to get your body in the right shape. You've got some swab in there. Team is really, really into. L-Dub, come talk to me a little bit about, just tell them what mailbox dancing is for a moment. Come on up here. Yeah. Tell everybody what it is.
This is I teach a dance fitness class, so this was a fun idea for me that Michael came up with. It's just taking this test, this little swabby swab that you do, and it's just dancing your way to the mailbox. So everybody can come up with their own moves or use someone else's, and it's just a fun way for us to share our passion and excitement about what we're bringing to people, you know. So we're just dancing our way, being like, whose life's gonna change, you know. So that's how I feel about it. So that's what we've done. That's what we've done to, yeah. Dance. This was Michael's. This was Michael's song, but yeah. You put it in the box, and you put it in the box, and you put it in the box. Yeah. That's basically that's what it is.
Yeah, right? So you do a swab, you put it in a prepackaged envelope, you dance your way to the mailbox, drop it in there, it goes off to a lab. The lab is HIPAA and CLIA certified. A lot of people say, well, what's really happening with my DNA? You probably saw just recently that Ancestry.com sold all kinds of information to pharmaceutical companies so that they can make what? More prescription medication. So we're HIPAA and CLIA certified. It's against the law. It's a federal law for us. We're breaking a federal law if we share any information at all. In fact, your information has to be completely discarded within 60 days. So you're known internally by a barcode. From there, what happens is you get this 35-page wellness report, the results of your what's called SNPs, single nucleotide polymorphisms. I can say it. Took a while. And basically what these are is genetic dispositions that are passed down from your mother and father. A lot of people don't realize how much health, mental and physical, is passed down from our parents. And so you're going to find out what mom gave you, what dad gave you, or both. And from there, you have the ability to be able to see what are some of the health risks that are associated with each one of these SNPs. More importantly, they've now proven that you can alter the expression of a gene with nutrition. It's called nutrigenomics. And it is the future of medicine. It is the future of health. Everything is moving in that direction. And we are the world's leading authority in that area. So you get this report, and I have to tell you that I have people that get emotional when they get this report. Anybody get a little emotional when they read this? Because for the first time, you have validation. It's like, now wonder. Did you ever wonder why somebody can go on Atkins diet and lose 50 pounds and somebody else does Atkins diet and they can't lose any weight? That's genetics. You know, there's no one diet that fits all. It's why diets kind of bug me. You know, at the end of the day, it's about finding what works for your body, giving your body what it needs when it needs it. You know, just because you're putting your body into a caloric deficit and you happen to be losing weight as a byproduct doesn't mean that it's healthy. And so what we're doing is we're giving your body what it needs when it needs it. And ultimately, when people get that report, they go, oh, man, I realize what's happening here. My father has had triple bypass surgery. I have a genetic disposition associated with heart disease. In my product, in my formulation, there's all kinds of ingredients that target heart health. Do you think that I'll ever stop taking that product again? If you're evaluating a business, do you want a product that people are only going to take for 90 days, or do you want a product they're going to take for the rest of their life? It's called a lifestyle product. That was a big part of the reason why I got involved in this company. So you get this wellness report, and then about 15 days later, this customized formulation of nutrition arrives on your doorstep. And this product, I have to tell you, how many of you, it just brings you peace of mind when you see your name on it? Does it give you peace of mind? Michael and I were joking on the way over here, and we says, it's Amazon proof. No one will ever buy it. And I have an extra bottle or two at home. And Michael's like, you need to joke and do a little video that just says, hey, listen, if you want to be the #1 person in the company, just buy my DNA. It's right here. Do a little spoof video. Yeah, right? Listen, he's got more energy and more passion. So you get a customized formulation of nutrition. And what's crazy is that, I have conversations all the time with people about this product. And I ask them, I say, listen, do you take vitamins or supplements? 80% of the people say yes. 75% statistically takes vitamins and supplements. They spend over.
This is how Travis gets everyone to take a look at the thing. This is so important. He kind of blows through like golden nuggets. I just want to let you know this is one of his best methods.
And I'll recap them a little bit more in the training, but so 75% of our current U.S. population takes supplements every single day. They spend, on an average, anywhere from $127 to $145 per month. You don't have to create the value. And by the way, the other 25% that does supplement, I don't waste my time trying to convince them that they need supplements enough that they're already taking supplements. So I just ask them, do you currently take vitamins or supplements on a regular basis? They say yes. Health, or is there a health issue? And the answers are about 50-50. And it doesn't matter. I want to know what they're taking, it's more information, asking questions, just learning about the person. Then I ask them, I say, well, listen, vitamins and supplements, were they made for you or were they made for the masses? And they look at me kind of funny. And I'm like, well, are they generic or custom? And they're like, oh, they're just generic. I ordered them online. I bought them at Costco. I bought them at High Health. I bought them at GNC. I say, okay. I say, well, we're equal. And you could now take a DNA test that told you the genetic mutations that you've inherited from mom and dad that are linked to major illness. And then you had the ability to have a customized formulation of nutrients that were designed to alter the expression of those genes, or in other words, fill the gaps in your DNA. If all things were equal, would you still take the generic, or would you take something that's more customized for you? 100% of the time, what do you think they say? Great, maybe I can help. You see what I just did? I'm not selling, I'm not pitching, I'm helping and I'm serving. By asking questions, I discovered all I'm doing is positioning myself now as a solution. Maybe I can help. You see, Summer and I recently started a DNA nutrition company. And here's what I'd love to do. I'd love to send you a little 7-minute video that just explains a little bit more about what it is that we do. I have zero expectation. The only thing that I ask is, if you like what you see, would you consider buying customized vitamins from me as opposed to just buying them from GNC? And in return, I'll give you something that's customized just for you. How does that sound?
Yes. Kaboom.
Conversations lead to invitations. You just got to learn how to have conversations. And you've got to be able to ask those questions and let it flow just like that. You need to be able to rehearse that and ask those questions over and over and over again. So it's kind of like this. At the end of the day, if you were given the choice between a custom tailor-made designer suit or one that's sold at Kohl's, which one are you going to choose? Ladies, if you had the choice between a custom tailor-made wedding dress and one that's sold, at Dillard's, which one are you going with? If you want to get in shape, is it better to just, download an app, or to go hire an expert trainer that's going to be able to teach you what you need to do? Which one's going to produce better results? Customization. It's the future. So you don't necessarily, all you have to do is help people understand the differences between the two. We're not here to sell, pitch. We're just here to educate and inform. And so for me, in closing in this part of the presentation, what I will tell you guys is the only other thing that stood out to me was, there's a book that I'm fond of called Blue Ocean Strategy. Has anybody ever heard of that book or read it before? It's a great marketing book, and they talk about 2 different marketing conditions. The first is a red ocean. It's a fiercely competitive market. Everybody is fighting over the same market share. The author describes it as, quote, bloody murky waters, that environment. And the network marketing industry is somewhat of a red ocean. There's a lot of skincare companies out there. Some good ones, but how many skincare companies are there? And everybody claims that they're the best. There's a lot of essential oil companies. Everyone claims they're the best. I always love Ron's, who fights over lavender? I love that, right? There's coffee. I mean, now they're coming out happy coffee, right? It's not just weight loss. They put a little mushroom in it. Now it's happy weight loss coffee company. Yeah, right. So to me, There's nobody that has what we have. And the barrier of entry is so high. It doesn't mean that we won't have competition. Competition is actually a good thing. It drives innovation. And we will have competition eventually. But it's going to be pretty hard. Our software took 23 years to develop. Do you realize that? 23 years to develop the algorithms that look at your DNA. 23 years. And then they tested it on 50,000 people over 8 years. And during that time, every single batch was made by hand. And what happened was they couldn't keep up with the demand. As the word started getting out there, everybody wanted custom vitamins. And they couldn't keep up. So Terry LaCour bought the rights to that product in around 2014, 2015. And then he spent 2.5 years engineering a machine called the Nutritionator. It's the only machine in the world. He invested several $1 million. By the way, Terry LaCour has never spent this much money on any project that he's ever launched before. That's a big deal. And that tells you how he feels about this. So he spent 2.5 years engineering a product, and then he approached Ron Williams and said, Ron, you're the right guy to bring this to market. Ron is the most creative person that I've ever met. I mean, he's on a different level when it comes to creativity and messaging and just, it was the perfect fit. I mean, Ron was out there for 2 years just doing the U of U and teaching that. And I mean, how perfect is that? The U of U marrying with Üforia, and it's just, it was meant to be. And so, you know, these guys come together with this first to market product. It's very difficult to get into this market. And here we are at the very beginning, educating the world. And I will promise you this company will go from no one knowing about it to everyone knowing about it in a very short period of time over the next couple of years. And you guys have an opportunity to be a part of that. If that doesn't spell opportunity, then I don't know what was. If you've ever wished and dreamed and said, look, I want to be on the ground floor of something. I want to be there at the beginning. When is my opportunity going to come to change my life? Let me tell you something. It's not enough to recognize the opportunity of a lifetime. You have to act during the lifetime of the opportunity. There's a window of opportunity that comes along for every company. The windows of opportunity don't open very often and they don't stay open very long, but when they're open, incredible things can happen. The window of opportunity doesn't come along very often and it doesn't stay open very long, but when it's open, incredible things can happen. But you have to recognize that opportunity. And some of us, I know, we take it lightly. You know, it's easy to get tired. It's easy not to show up to a meeting. You know, there's people that are in this market right now that just felt like, it's Saturday. I know, I mean, heard all this before. I don't want to go to this Super Saturday training. Congratulations to you guys for being here because you made the commitment and that's really what it takes. I'm telling you guys that this business, you're going to do a lot of things in the beginning that you don't get paid for. It's frustrating. But down the road, you're going to get paid a lot of money for the things that you didn't do. That's network marketing. You get paid a little bit of money off of a lot of people that are all just doing a little bit. They're just, 5,000 people in my organization from one message. I just left one little message. Then I called my friend Catherine Eisenhut, who's another brilliant, beautiful influencer, and said, hey, I've got something that you guys might want to take a look at. And it's amazing to me still how one little message leads to me being in Las Vegas with all of you guys. Is that not incredible? That's beautiful. That's the beauty of network marketing. Would you rather get paid 1% of 5,000 people's efforts or 100% of your own? Right? That's leverage. That's what creates freedom. And most people don't understand that. But you got to act. You've got to take action. So for those of you that are here that are guests, raise your hand if this is the first time you've ever heard this before. Wow, very, very cool. I love it. You have a beautiful smile, by the way. Appreciate it. So how are you feeling right now? You're looking like you're getting a little excited. I see you just kind of moving around a little bit. Do you want to tell everybody how you're feeling right now?
I'm feeling great.
Tell everybody your name.
My name's Lydia.
Lydia. So how do you feel about this?
I love the idea.
Yeah.
When I heard it, when my friend here, Angie, told me about the product, I said, you're kidding me. They're making vitamins that go specifically to your DNA. I said, I got to hear that. I got to see it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. I would love to call on 2 people, maybe 3, testimonials of people that have experienced some great things with the product. Before I do that, let me teach you how to do a testimonial, okay? A testimonial is, here's where I've been, or here's where I was dissatisfied with life. Here's how I heard about this company. Since I started taking the product, here's what I've experienced. And now here's how I feel about the future. And a great testimonial, you typically can do it in about 3 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. So a great testimonial is, here's where I was. You know, my health, my energy was at an all-time low. I was fighting depression. I was fighting anxiety. I was, you know, not, I just didn't feel, you know, I was dealing with health issues. Inflammation was rampant in my body. And you know what? I heard about this company called Üforia. Actually, my wife shared it with me. And you know what? I was intrigued by the concept. And so I decided to start taking the product. And you know what happened? Immediately, my mind just started feeling like I had so much more clarity than I've ever had before. And pretty soon after that, I started to lose some weight. And then all of a sudden, I started to have more energy and I started feeling better. And then all of a sudden, I started noticing that things just didn't ache as much. The inflammation was going away in my body. And then you know what? I stopped taking the product for a period of time just because I forgot about it and I forgot to order. And you know what? Then I realized how good I felt when I was on the product. Sometimes we don't realize how good we feel until you start feeling bad again. And I got to tell you, now I have this optimistic, you know, feeling about my health in the future because for the first time I've taken control of my health and I love it. That's a testimonial. Who would like to share a testimonial? This is an opportunity, by the way. This is an opportunity to be able to kind of face your fear a little bit. Come on up. Mr. Wise. Thank you.
Awesome. What's going on, everybody? How are we doing? This is my first time sharing a testimonial in a large group setting. So I don't know how I'm going to share this one. Everybody knows I'm an energy healer. Some people don't know that I'm an energy healer, but you know, sometimes energy healing doesn't pay the bills as much as you want it to. And that's okay because I love helping people. Helping people is my #1 objective. I really get excited about when I can actually help somebody and they lose their pain, maybe mentally, maybe emotionally. It's absolutely amazing. And, you know, I was kind of getting burnt out of doing this energy healing because it takes a lot of energy out of me. And I don't do it in person because it's really intense, right? So I do it online and I do it, you know, I do it all over the world. Do it in Australia, I do it in China, and I can do it anywhere. And like I said, that took a lot of energy out of me. And then Craig Goldberg came along, and he introduced Üforia to me, and I was like, wow, you know what? I'm not really making that much money doing energy healing, but I love healing people. I love what I do. And this is what this product does. It heals people, but I don't have to use my energy. I have to do some energy, right, to get people involved. But on a massive scale, I can heal people. So if I introduce this to some people, other people are going to start talking about it, and they can start feeling better. I feel great. I feel amazing. A lot of people don't know. 6 months ago, I actually just got off a hormone replacement. I'm 31 years old, hormone replacement. And before that, I was actually a bodybuilder. Doesn't look like it now, but I was over 296 pounds. Yeah. Stepping on stage, cock diesel, rip, right? I felt horrible. I looked good. I felt horrible. 6 months ago, I got off of testosterone. And, you know, I felt awful. I had to take all these over-the-counter drugs, you know, to get my hormones back to where they're supposed to be, to get back to, you know, being able to wake up, to get back to heart palpitations not happening, to get back to going to the gym without being like, oh man, I have to go to the gym again? Really? So when I started taking Üforia, I mean, in the beginning, you know, I did go through the detoxification. I went through the headaches. I went through, you know, the body pains, the aches, everything. Week after that, I started feeling something happen. And it happened on a neurological level, more so than a body level. Neurological level, I have ADHD. I'm diagnosed with ADHD, depression, anxiety, the whole nines. I felt so much more clarity. I wouldn't be able to do this in front of you guys if I wasn't on nutrition. I mean, that's amazing. Anxiety is at an all-time low. I haven't had a panic attack, haven't had a heart palpitation. And that's why I mentioned the hormones, because when your hormones are out of balance, that's what happens. You start getting anxiety, you start getting depression, you start not wanting to go to the gym anymore, you start getting weight, unfortunately. So when I started this, I started feeling better. And I was like, wow, I've been on testosterone for so long. I don't know. I'm feeling amazing right now. And I was taking HCG. I was taking all those other precursors that you have to take to get off of testosterone. And I just stopped them cold turkey. I stopped them cold turkey because I was feeling that good. I was feeling amazing. So not only was I feeling great neurologically, I'm feeling great physically. I have my energy back. I can go to the gym without, being like, oh man, it's another day. I have to get my ass in the gym, right? But it's just been so amazing. And I just think that this company, the people that we're involved with, Travis, Mike, Craig, Hallie, amazing, amazing people that we're involved in. And we're involved with a company that's going to be huge. I don't know if you guys realize that right now. I'm sure you do. But the one sitting here is going to be huge. So not only, yeah. So not only on a health standpoint, on a financial standpoint, on a family standpoint, it's amazing. So thank you for being here.
All right, so that was a beautiful testimonial. There's one thing that I'd like to share. Just
Hallie to show everyone how to do a testimonial too.
So there's one, Michael, and I'm using this as a learning example. There's one word that we have to avoid. We can never say that word. You can say, this is how it makes me feel. This has been my personal experience. This is what, the results that I've experienced, or it supports your brain health. It supports your body. It's, there's different ways to be able to get to that same place without saying that word. That word will bring the FDA or the FTC at our door very, very quickly. And I only share that, Michael, I'm not picking on you. Your testimonial was beautiful. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful. I want to caution everybody, because it's our responsibility to protect the house. None of us want to build a team or a business and have a year from now, have people coming in saying, hey, you guys are making claims. And that's very serious, especially with what we're doing, because quite frankly, we are challenging the pharmaceutical industry. That's a powerful industry to challenge, and they have a lot of allies. They don't want our companies to come along. It's the same thing with, you've heard of cures of cancer and different things that are out there that they don't want that coming to fruition. They want to continue to keep you sick so that they can put you on medicine. So we have to be very careful of the wording that we use and just be conscious of that. Hallie, come on up. Birthday girl.
Thank you so much. Oh.
When someone gets brought up to the front of the room, keep clapping until they get to the front of the room. Can you do that? It's all about bringing energy into the room and making her feel special. Make sense?
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is this thing on? Travis, unbelievable. The way you deliver the information is so concise. Do you notice that there's nothing that makes you wonder when Travis speaks? He's very clear. He doesn't speak over anybody's head. He's speaking to your heart. It's beautiful the way you transmit information. I love listening to you. So thank you. We're so blessed to have Travis and Michael. I mean, we really are so lucky, you guys. So I just want to say that first. But anyways, okay, so what I love to see, you guys, is potent sound bites, because we can put more sound bites if they're shorter and they're potent. So what's potent? My name's Hallie Gillen. I've been selling real estate in this town for 32 years. If you need a house, I'm your girl. However, that's not what I'm here to talk about. When I found out about Euphoria, when Michael mentioned it to me, I was excited because I love the idea of custom. I'm a designer girl, not gonna lie. However, I really wasn't sure if I could believe it. So we went down, we met the CEO, and when I heard his heart, I knew we were onto something. When I tried the product, it took 3 days for my digestion to completely change. When I say completely changed, it was so noticeable that I was starting to wonder if I was having a placebo. No joke. So I had been getting live blood for 15 years, and I've had pictures of my blood and what it looked like on a microscope. So I decided to go with Stephanie and go back to have it checked. My blood completely changed before my very eyes. I can show you a video of cells that were stuck together with hollow areas lacking oxygen and iron that are now completely round and floating like it's supposed to be. The picture that I always looked at that I could never achieve with all kinds of enzymes and all kinds of probiotics was finally my blood. The guy liked it so much he joined our group. These people usually sell you product. We sold him our product, okay? That is the way this product works, and it affects everybody differently. So what I'm really excited about is seeing how it changes your body. Because when you put your body back in balance, it does miraculous things. And I will never stop taking this product.
All right, so we're going to shift gears and we're going to get into some training, if that's okay with you guys. And we've already kind of started to get in there. I think everything is a learning experience. So even when we're presenting, we're training. Some of you are guests, and so I'm going to give you an opportunity if you'd like to leave if you want. I would encourage you to stay if you want to learn how to build the business, but we always want to be respectful of that if you came just to hear the opportunity. So with that, we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to let's take about a not a long one, 3-4 minute break if we can. Yep. Thank you. You know what? I totally shift sometimes. Like I had a whole different picture of how that was going to go until I start talking. And you just kind of go So I want to but I think we did something like January 5th, somewhere in there we get 5 or 2 years and breakfast and everything into it. And then it'd just be a long weekend, and I probably would, probably have to be like support this. Just the house is like constant. So our leadership.
All right, you guys ready?
Jerry was my poker dealer, Travis, just so you know, and I did not enroll him just so you know he's not part of our team. Somebody else. So don't say that. Don't say part of our team. Hey, don't say I'm not part of our team. That's how you say it. Don't tell me anything.
All right, guys, let's get back. We only have Travis for another hour here.
You gotta teach me how to whistle.
You don't know how to whistle?
No, not like that.
It's pretty hard.
Oh, that's in a movie, right?
Let's do it, guys. Let's go, Mike. Let's go, Rebecca. We got to get better at this meeting conduct stuff. We'll work on it. Shane, you're still sitting in the Muppet seats. I love it. He reminds me of the Muppets, those two guys, the critics that sat up in the upper room. Remember the Muppet Show? Chavez and Rebecca and everyone, can we go from the kitchen back to our seats? Oh, okay. Oh, you waiting for the bathroom, Mike? Oh, okay. Just go in your pants. You're good.
So one of the things that, having been on the road for 10 years, you know, I kind of joke about it, but I said that to Ron in the beginning, if my feet have to touch someone's living room carpet to build this business, I'm out. And I joke about that because I don't mind. I love being here. This feels really good to me. But I don't want a business that's totally dependent upon me being gone every weekend, right? I build this business for my family, not at the expense of my family. And I've really learned, one of the things that's been important to me is to learn to build a business around my rules, not someone else's, right? Especially as your organization gets bigger and bigger, your organization will run you if you let it. So I set there's limits. I work when I don't work on Sundays, just so you guys know. If you text me on Sunday, I don't usually respond. I may respond on a text. I was texting Mike while I was sitting at church the other day. He's like, dude, you quit texting me when you're at church. But I usually don't do calls in 3 ways. That I'm not saying you should do that. That's just because my family, to me, is they deserve my attention on Sundays. So that's my commitment. So I've learned to set parameters. And one of the parameters is I don't want to necessarily have to be on the road every single week. So I joke about that. And so Michael loves to tease me and say, I'm going to get you into a home party. And it's not, I love being here, just so you guys know. I don't totally rely on the internet. I do believe in this approach. And I don't think there's anything better than belly to belly when it comes to building a business, just so you guys know. So let's get into some training. First of all, would you guys do me a favor? I want to do something just for my wife, because she's really feeling bummed she's not here. She really wanted to actually come and celebrate with you, Hallie. She actually said she wanted to be here last night. We had to shift our plans, not our flight getting in a lot later last night. I apologize I wasn't there to celebrate you. But Summer really loves you and wanted to come and hang out with you. So will you guys just give me a 10-second Hi Summer video real quick? Tell her we miss her. All right, ready? Go ahead. All right, baby. I love you. Just wanted you to know we were talking about you. All right, thanks, guys. All right, so let's talk a little bit about your why. There was this couple that I brought into the business. They were in their 60s, and for some reason or another, he just had the sweetest spirit about him, and this has always stood out to me. This was probably 8-9 years ago now, maybe around that time. But this couple, they joined my business, and I always do a new getting started interview. It's my way of getting to know the person that I've enrolled and learn more about them and what drives them to succeed, what their expectations are. If you're not doing that, you should, right? If you enroll someone new into the business, then you should be doing a personal interview. It's okay. No, you should be doing a personal, I call it an interview. You can call it whatever you want, but it's just your opportunity to be able to get to know them, what drives them to succeed, the reasons why they're here, their children's names. It's more than just a business, right? It's more than just a check. It's your opportunity to be able to connect at a heart level and also ask questions like, listen, what would you like me to do if I see you getting off course, right? I'm asking for permission to be able to mentor them. If they tell me, I want you to smack me upside the head or call me on it, now I can do that from a place of respect, right? And so these are all great things that you want to do. So I was going through this personal interview with this couple, and I says, why are you here? He says, my wife has been a school teacher for 30 years. She retired. We did what we were supposed to do. We put away money every month. We're not rich, not wealthy, but we were able to, and I worked my whole life as well. And we put away enough money to be able to build our dream home. It's nothing extravagant, but it's a nice home. It has a wraparound porch. It's something that we've always wanted. We had a swing on that porch. And he said, and we had an acre. And that was our dream. Then 2008 came along, and we lost our 401k, and we lost everything. He said, I ended up having to sell the home, and we now live in an apartment. Not only do I live in the apartment, but now I'm on medical disability, and I can't go back to work. So my wife she's now a substitute teacher. And he says, and I watch her go to work every day, and it just tears me up. And he said, Travis, I want you to help me get that home back. It may not be that home, but I want you to help me bring her back home. You see the hair on my arm stand up when I share that with you? That's a why. That's a why. We all know Michael Zappia's why. You have to know your why. You've heard the saying, your why should make you cry. You've got to know why you're here, and it's got to be deeper than money, right? I mean, some of you that were at the event, you heard me share a story of, just to give you an analogy. If I put a 12-foot beam that was 6 inches wide on the ground, and I offered you $100 to cross that beam, would you do it? Raise your hand if you would do it. $100 just to walk across the beam sitting on the floor here. Okay? Now, let's take it up 70 stories. The same beam between two buildings, no net, and I offered you $100 to walk across the beam. It's only 6 inches wide, 12 feet long. Would you do it? Raise your hand if you would. 70 stories high. Nobody? No daredevils in here? Okay. Now, if the building was on fire, but your children were in that building, would you cross the beam? Raise your hand if you would do it. What changed? The beam's the same. What changed? You got to get really in touch with your why. I encourage you to, I have just started this again. I encourage you to spend 10 to 15 minutes at minimum every morning in meditation in some form or fashion. I don't care if it's in the shower. I'll tell you where I'm doing it right now. It's kind of funny, but I have one of those rollers for your back that because I wake up, my back always hurts. And so I go into my closet, and I have these windows that are in my closet. And just outside my windows, I have these beautiful trees. And so I go in my closet, and I lay down on that roller, and I roll for a little bit, and then I just close my eyes. I look at the trees, and it kind of something tranquil about just nature. And I just close my eyes, and I picture what my perfect life looks like. That's what I'm doing to meditate. But the reason why I share that with you is because a lot of people, they have a general idea of what they want, but they don't have a very clear, crystal picture of what they want. You wouldn't wake up in the morning and grab your car keys and just start driving without knowing where you're headed, would you? So why do we live our lives that way? Most people spend more time planning a vacation than they do planning their lives. And I know that there's people in this room right now that don't have a crystal clear picture of what it is that you want. You might kind of have an idea of a nicer house, but what does it look like specifically? What does the kitchen look like? What kind of granite does it have? You want a nicer car? What kind of interior does it have? Have you been in that car? Have you driven that car? Do you know what it smells like? Go do it. Go do it. Experience it. Live like you're a millionaire. Now, I'm not saying go pretend that you're a millionaire. I'm saying you need to you need to live as if. You need to act as if. The mind doesn't know any different, right? When you start to live it and breathe it and it becomes real. It comes to fruition. It's amazing how the mind, the world conspires, whatever your faith is, God conspires. When you start to get real clear on what you want, all of a sudden a roadmap appears, Mike. Absolutely. Amen. So you got to get crystal clear on your why. Anybody who want to come up here and share their why? It's a hard thing to do, I know. Come on up. Carmen.
Okay, I'll try not to cry, but I'm not gonna promise. I have a big why. I want to break a generational cycle in my life. Since I can remember, we've been taught that good things are for certain people and not for us, and that's a lie. I want my kids to be better. I want to raise the bar, and I know that my kids are not going to do what I tell them, but what I model. I've been afraid all my life, and this, what I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for my children, my granddaughter. I'm even representing my mom. I'm representing my grandmother because it stops with me. I'm raising the bar.
Beautiful. You should be able to share that why. You should be able to share that with people, because that right there is the most powerful part of the most impactful part of your story. You should be able to share that with someone. That telling someone why you're doing it is much more powerful than telling them the facts and the figures about the company itself. So you should be able to do that. And I would encourage you to go as far as to write it in your journal. If you don't have a journal, go buy a success journal. And I want you to write out your perfect life. And I want you to read it every day. Read it every single day. And you know what? Make changes to it. Because as you go and as you grow, things will change. You'll want certain different things. And so keep rewriting what that perfect life looks like to you. But you know, when I look at high performers, and I've studied a lot of high performers, one of the things, the characteristics of high performers is they're crystal clear on what it is that they want. Crystal clear. So the first thing is we have to know why you're here. And it's got to be more than just, I want to make a little bit of extra money. What does that money really mean for you, right? How does that make a difference in your life? The next thing is now you have to decide where it is that you're going, right? You have to have that roadmap, a crystal clear picture of what it is that you want. You know, to me, I want peace of mind. There's nothing more precious to me than peace of mind. I do struggle with anxiety, and I've fought depression in my life. And I know what the triggers are for those things. Sometimes the biggest trigger for me is financial stress. The other is not having clarity of purpose, not having clarity of knowing where it is that I want to go. Sometimes when you're in a state of depression, the thing that you want to ask yourself is what is it that I'm not doing that I should be doing? And when we lose that clarity of purpose, what happens is we tend to start feeling lost. And I've been in and out of that. So for me, it's about having clarity of purpose. And to me, at this point in my life, it's about true fulfillment comes from contribution. That's what I've learned. Contribution, making a difference. That's why I love this business so much. To be able to see I'm addicted to watching somebody's eyes. There's a point in time where their eyes come alive and they start to think bigger, and they start to dream a little bit bigger, and they start to have a little bit more hope, right? It's just a mustard seed at first. Some of you guys just have this tiny little mustard seed that maybe there's more, that I could have more. And just like anything else, right? If that's the mustard seed that's in a garden, it's going to compete with weeds, right? And if you don't weed your garden, what's going to happen? The weeds are going to overtake that mustard seed. So you have to keep the weeds out. You got to avoid negativity like it's the plague. I avoid negativity like it's the plague. I don't do drama. I just don't. You know, there's drama that happens sometimes in our business. We're in the people business. You will see me run from it. I just don't respond to it. I just don't get involved with it. To me, it's toxic, and I don't even want to be around it. I don't do it. I don't want to be around negative people. I want to be around firefighters or firelighters, not firefighters. You know what firefighters are? They're the people that go around and they put out everybody else's fire. They walk into a room and they suck the life out of a room. That's not what I'm looking for. One of my favorite quotes is, they knew who she was when she walked into the room. Think about that statement. Confidence, posture, moxie, not ego. Ego repels. Ego pushes people away, but it's confidence. And so for me, you know, clarity of purpose, peace of mind. What brings peace of mind? I don't want to owe anybody anything. How would it make you feel to be able to go to bed at night and know that you don't owe one person anything? How would that feel? How would it feel? Peaceful. That's what I'm after. And freedom to be able to go create amazing life experiences with the people that we love and care about most. That's what this business is about. So you've got to get crystal clear. Once you know why you're doing it, then keep writing in your journal and go to the next page. And I want you to talk about where it is that you want to go. And I want you to get as specific as possible. If you want a car, cool. Nothing wrong with materialistic things. Just know that they're not going to bring you happiness. It's the contribution that allows you to be able to get the prize that's the true value. But there's nothing wrong with wanting nicer things, nicer car, nicer home. That's fine. Just don't get caught up in thinking that those things will bring you happiness, because I've been there. Anybody else been there? You just keep chasing and chasing and chasing. I started when I was a kid. I wanted this red line BMX bike. Red line. Everybody remember red line with the little spokes on the back? Man, I wanted that thing. And I got that bike, and 48 hours later, I was like, it didn't feel that good. Yeah, that's all there is. And I chased that for a long time. So know where it is that you're going to go. And then who's going to come with you? Who are you bringing with you on this journey? Right? I mean, think about it this way. You've got to create the party. You've got to create the excitement. To me, I look at it like this. When I first started my business, and I want you to write this down. Most people join a business, they don't launch their business. They join a business. They sign the application. I started a business. You know how you realize the barrier of entry in this business is so low. I right now, if I was presented with this opportunity, would spend $50,000 easily to own a franchise in Üforia. Knowing what I know right now, I'd spend $100,000. I'd buy a $100,000 franchise with Üforia right now. If you spent $100,000 on this business, would you show up differently than you are right now? That's the secret, you guys. That's the secret right there. Because I realized, think about any other business that you could go start. If you were to go buy a franchise, Subway franchise, for example. The average Subway franchisee makes about $5,000 per month. That's net profit. That's after buying and taking on the risk. That's after all of the employees, the overhead, all of the stress that goes along with that. The net profit, average net profit of a Subway franchise is $5,000. It's $150,000 to buy a Subway franchise. Think about that. What other business can you go start that's not going to, that you don't have to spend this kind of money to be able to get into it? There is no business. The average coffee stand costs $30,000 to $40,000 if you wanted to start a coffee stand business. And then you got to go work there every single day. So I think that, in network marketing, we tend to want to focus on the net part of it, how much we're going to net, but we forget about the work. This is work just like any other business. So you have to think about who it is that you want to take with you. You have to launch your business. When I finally decided, there was a 72-hour period from the time that message happened to I'm doing this. And I literally walked away from a contract that I had for consulting that was a big contract because I was all in here. I made the decision that we're doing this. When I made that decision, I also decided that I'm going to do this bigger than I've ever done it before. And I am going to launch this at a level that I never have before. I spent an entire, probably 3-4 hours in front of, I put up poster boards all over my windows and I taped them, one at a time. And I literally just started writing names. And I'm a very visual person. And I had to do that because every time I'd get on social media, I'd be like, oh, I forgot about that person. Oh, I forgot about that person. Oh, yeah. So I'd stand up and I'd write the name. And I made a commitment literally within the first week that I wanted to put 20 people in my business by Friday at noon. And I started on Monday. 20 people. I was going to do it. I just was going to do it. Whatever it takes, I was going to go do it. And you know what I did? I started just messaging just like that, voice messaging people like that. I'd get on the phone with people and I'd say, listen, I just want to make sure that you know what it is that I'm about to go do. I'm about to launch the biggest business that I've ever launched before. And the people that choose to lock arms with me at this stage are going to benefit tremendously from my future efforts. This is going to be my legacy. And I want to invite you to take a closer look. You're one of the first people that I'm reaching out to. Listen, I only have time to work with 20 people. I have a list of about 300 people that I'm going to be calling over the next couple of days. You're one of the first people that I'm calling. I don't care if you tell me yes or tell me no, but tell me fast because I got to go because I got 199 more people to call. Do you want to be a part of what I'm doing? Do you think that they wanted to see the presentation? Why? sense of urgency, fear of loss. Those are some of the most powerful emotions that you can leverage to get somebody to look at your opportunity. But what are people really buying into? Were they buying into the DNA nutrition business at that point, or what were they buying into? Were they buying into my vision? The bigger the vision, the bigger the leader. It's your vision. You've got to be able to share that vision with others of where it is that you're going. Listen, this rocket ship is about to take off. I've got 10 seats, 200 people that I'm calling. The people that are on this rocket ship are going to make a fortune. And I'm sharing it with you, Dave. Now listen, this may be for you and it may not, but the last thing that I want is for you to come back to me 6 months from now and say, Travis, why didn't you tell me about this? So I'm giving you an opportunity to see it. Whether you choose to act on it or not, it doesn't matter to me. I just need to make sure you know what I'm about to go do will be my legacy, and I'm about to go make tens of millions of dollars. You want to see what I'm working on? It's the certainty. It's the conviction. It's the vision. I remember a friend of mine calling me back in around 2007-ish, and he says, hey, I went to this meeting last night. And you know, it looked kind of interesting. I decided to throw $300 at it and just see what happens. And I just thought I'd call you and just see if you're interested in taking a look or not and see if you're open. And I'm like, here's what I said to him, dude, listen, you need to reevaluate your approach because you're not getting me excited here. No, I don't want to look at your opportunity. Why would anybody want to look at your opportunity if you just threw $300 at something hoping to get lucky? This is not a business of luck. Network marketing is get rich quick, it's not get rich quick, but it is get rich possible. But it is not based on luck. If you're here because you were hoping just to get lucky because of the timing or the positioning, you're in the wrong place. There's a Amway meeting up the road. This is about hard work. So for me, I launched my business and I put those 20 people into the business within the first 5 days. Now, don't compare yourself to me. I've been in this business. I have credibility. I'm able to call people and say, hey, listen, I'm doing something, and they were willing to listen. But you know what? Even if I didn't have that, I still believe that I could have easily gone and gotten my first 12 within that first week. I really do, easily. But it's about getting excited, right? Look at this ship is getting ready to take off, this cruise ship, and we're going to this destination island where everybody on that island is completely financially free. You know what? They're having the time of their lives. They're drinking out of coconuts, coconut money, right? Coconut money, you know what that is? It's when you make enough money, residual income, that you can drink out of coconuts for the rest of your life. And if you don't like coconuts, then you can, like me, I like pineapples. So drink out of pineapples the rest of your life. Everybody on this island, they're having a great time. No stress, no worries. But here's the deal. I've only got 10 spots. And I got 200 people that I'm going to be calling. Do you want on my ship or not? It's attitude. It's confidence. It's moxie. It's conviction. It's knowing where it is that you're going. That's why you have to get that certainty, that clarity of where it is that you're going. Because once you get it, you start to gain a little bit of confidence, right? That mustard seed starts to turn in. It goes to hope first. Hope turns into faith. Faith without works, what happens? You might have a little bit of faith. Some of you are on faith right now. Some of you are mustard seeds that are brand new, and that's okay. That's the point. That's why you need to surround yourself with the right people. It's why you need to plug into the system. It's why he works tirelessly to make sure that you guys have something to plug into, and all of these other leaders do as well, so that you have the ability to plug in. The worst thing that you could do is start a business and then not plug in. If you spend $100,000 on your business, would you get on the Monday night freedom call, the Sunday night team call? Would you get on the 7 o'clock meetings in the morning to get your mind right? I hope I'm quoting all the times right. Again, it comes back to, if you spend $100,000, how would you treat it? How would you treat it? Everybody treats this as a side business. Let me tell you something. For 2 years, I treated it like a side business. You know what I made? A nice side income. You know what happened? I was sitting in a room. First of all, my circumstances were I lost everything. My circumstances changed. Sometimes there's nothing better than having your back against the wall to be a springboard to something new and exciting. But you know when it really changed is I was at a meeting. We spent every money we had. I actually spent my mortgage payment to go to an event in Florida. I made the decision to go to the event instead of pay my mortgage. And I just prayed that I would figure it out. I went to the event. My leaders told me I needed to be there. And that's hard. That requires trust and faith to not have the money and go to an event like that. We did it. I went to the event, and I went. Summer didn't come with me. When you have to make difficult decisions, and Summer wanted to be there, we couldn't afford that. So I'm at this event, and I'm sitting in the back row. And I remember watching one person after another walk across the stage and share their stories. And the first thing that hit me was I got mad. I was like, they can do it. I can do it. That guy can do it, then I know I can do it. But here's what happened. A major decision. I made a huge decision at that event that I would never come back to an event again without walking across that stage. And I remember walking out, and I called Summer, and I was in tears. And I said, listen, we're done playing small. We're done playing small. This is no longer a side business. This is an all or nothing business for us. And we're going all in. And we're going to do whatever it takes. Now, it doesn't mean I quit. I still had to have a little bit of a side job in the beginning to create my bills. I had to do that. But I still went mentally all in. And because of that, things started to happen. Things started to change. So you've got to get that conviction. You've got to get that clarity. You've got to have the big vision, and you got to be able to articulate that vision. And I would encourage you to write it out. Write it out. Read it every day. Read it out every single day so you can articulate your vision. Your story, you should be able to share your story on a dime. Just like the testimonial, it's all the same. It starts off with, here's where I was at financially. My electric was being shut off. My gas was being shut off. I was putting my kids in my bed to keep them warm at night. I was having my father and my mother at 30 years old order pizza for me because I couldn't afford to feed my family. My cars were being repossessed. I broke my knee not once, but twice in a 6-week period. Who does that? A 3-legged Rottweiler tried to attack me the second time. Life sucked. And I also want you to know something. Every one of you there's people in here right now that are going through tough times. And I want you to know something. You're not alone. We've all been there. We've all been there. But I want you to know that there's a lesson in everything. And there's a reason and a season for everything. And every time that I look back, even that stupid job that I hated at a cubicle taught me instrumental things about asking questions and listening. And I use that every day. You guys have heard me ask questions, and the way that I communicate with people, it all came from that sales floor. So my point is this: you've got to make a decision. You've got to get serious. You've got to treat it like you've spent $100,000. You need to be able to articulate your big vision. The bigger the vision, the more people you're going to attract. Now, you need to launch your business, period. How many of you really haven't launched your business at a level that you think that you could have or should have? I'm still there. I know I could go bigger. So how about we make a commitment right now, a pledge to each other, that we are going to relaunch our business and take it to a new level? Is that a commitment that you're willing to take? Say aye if you are in. Aye. Say aye if you are in. Aye. We can go big. We can go faster. It's not going to happen overnight, but we can go bigger and we can go faster. Please.
Okay, hold on. Hold this for a second. Sorry, but Travis said something so significant that I can't even hear anything else past it because I got to say this. The difference between a choice to do this and a choice to do other things that bring you a lot of money is so significant that it's a subtlety. Because I can tell you right now, what I do as a real estate agent, I make great money. I'm able to help people and it feels good. However, it is not the offering of a transference of hope. And because of that, the level of significance that I feel when I do this, it is a ridiculous thing sometimes that I get super excited about delivering a kit for $159 over a $500,000 sale. And there's a reason. It has nothing to do with the money. It has to do with the fact that you are depositing a seed of hope that can grow into a tree that feeds a village. And there's something so special about that. When you see that spark of hope get relit in someone else's face, that for 10 years as I sat out of this industry, I felt an emptiness that I thought, okay, maybe I need to do ministry. There's just something missing. And what's missing is that what we have, and especially because it has to do with health. So now it's even more potent because the health aspect can change you from the outside in, and the inner aspect of being able to create a movement of people who help people, who develop people, who pour into people, who help people get healthier and change their whole mindset. What we're doing, you guys, is what we need the world to do. And if we don't do it, who does? And if we let other people do it, what if they're not as pure and gentle and honest as we are? Because we are really trying to help people. There's nothing phony or fake or there is no BS here. And I just needed to say that because there's a difference, you guys. I don't know if you can feel it, but if you can't, dig deep and really look at what we're doing, because we're making a difference in a significant way. And that is the thing you were just talking about. And that's why I had to say that. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about mindset. So mindset is so important in this business. You got to have a champion's mindset. So first of all, we've talked about making a decision. Some of you guys need to make that decision. You know, you've been on the fence. You're kind of dabbling. You're dipping your toe in the water. It's time to do a cannonball. It's time to go all in. Doesn't mean that you have to go all in, meaning you have to work 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week. Most people do this business part-time in the beginning. But it means that when you are working the business part-time, you're actually working the business. You're focusing on income-producing activities. You're focused on those vitals. You're tracking your vitals. You can do the business part-time. You can do it full-time, but you can't do it sometime. It doesn't work. You can do the business full-time. You can do it part-time, but it doesn't work if you do it sometime. You do the business sometime. Picture this. You guys are out in the middle of a lake. Anybody water skier? Anybody like to water ski? Okay, imagine that you're out in the water. Lake Mead. You're out in Lake Mead and you're sitting there behind a boat and you're getting ready to go water skiing and you've got your skis and they're pointed up and you're sitting there and it's the first time that you've ever skied before. And you know, you're nervous and they're telling you what to do and you're holding onto the rope and the boat starts to kind of take off a little bit just to eliminate the slack and you're thinking, okay, here we go. Your heart's pounding and the boat takes off. And what do we tend to do when we first water ski? What happens is we tend to try and pull ourselves out of the water. What happens when you try to pull yourself out of the water and the boat's going? You face plant, right? And it kind of hurts a little bit. Even though it's water, it can feel like cement. So let's say that you're like, now some people, when that happens, they're going to quit. They're going to say, I'm done. Can't do this. Not for me. I'm just not a good water skier. Not cut out for this. But let's say that you're not one of those people. Let's say that you have the courage to keep going. So now you're going to do it again. All right. I'm going to get up. I'm going to get up. So get there, skis pointed up. You're ready to go. This time you sit back and the boat starts to go. And guess what? The resistance of the water actually lifts you out of the water. The resistance actually lifts you up. And now you're on top of the water and you fall. Okay, let's do it again. You do it again. Same thing. You get up this time and you're getting up, you get out of the water, and all of a sudden you start to experience something called momentum. Momentum is a network marketer's best friend. Exaggerator. You know why? Because it'll turn the ordinary into the extraordinary when your business hits momentum. The problem is most people live in a state of water in their face. You know why? Because here's what happens. What would happen if just as you started to get up, the boat driver goes up, put it in neutral, and then he just stops? Sink back down. Oh, boat driver says, my bad, sorry. You're like, what are you doing? I just finally got up. So he's like, my bad, let's go again. So gets up, you finally get out of the water, starting to feel the wind in the air, and then he stops, puts it in neutral again, sinks back down. He does this over and over and over all day long. I mean, the whole time your water's just in your face. Would water skiing be fun? Would you learn how to water ski that way? Would you quit pretty soon if that's all the driver was doing? Some of you are doing that in your business to yourselves and you don't even know it. You're constantly starting and stopping and starting and stopping. A couple days in the business and then a week or two go by. A couple days in the business, a week or two go by. And you know what? It's just water in the face and it's no fun. On the other hand, if you do a few simple things every day over a long enough period of time, the compound effect starts to kick in, the law of compounding. And all of a sudden, what happens is you start to get out of the water. And you know what? You might Elda crossed the wake when she came up here just a little while ago because she was nervous to speak, but she did, right? You came up here. That's crossing a wake. Mike came up here and shared his testimonial. That was crossing. But it takes time. The effort and reward curve. I mean, there's this point in time where your effort's up here and your income is down here, but then all of a sudden your effort starts to come here and the income starts to go here. But guess what happens to the income? It just keeps going. That's how network marketing works. It works in a microwave society. We all want it now. Everybody wants it now.
It just doesn't work that way in network marketing. It just doesn't work that way in any traditional business either. So you got to make a major decision. What happens when you make a major decision? You're going to be tested. It's all kinds of tests that are going to come your way. It's God's way, the law, whatever world way of testing you to see how serious you are. Right? How do we know that you've truly made a decision? There's action behind that decision. That's how you know you've made a decision. It's not just, okay, Sunday, I'm gonna get in better shape this week. How many times have we done that and then not taken action on it? How do you know you've truly made a decision when there's action behind it? And there is going to be tests that are thrown at you. It could be, this one's the big one. Every time I make a big decision, guess what happens? Financially, something happens. My car breaks down. Something happens to one of my kids, and I'm an entrepreneur, so I don't have really great health insurance, so it's always cash. And so all of a sudden, I got to put a ton of money into that. How many times have you enrolled somebody into the business, and they've called you back a few days later and said, oh, they said they were going to join, but then their car broke down or something happened? That's being tested. That's just, you have to expect that as entrepreneurs. You've got to expect it. Some of the other tests that you're going to have, relationships. Be on board with it. You know how to get a spouse on board with your business? Show them the money. I've never seen a spouse who is upset when all of a sudden somebody starts making some money. Show them the money. Show them that this really is real. Show them that you're serious. Show them that you're committed. That's how you get you recruit an unsupportive spouse into the business. Another one is baggage. We talked a lot about this at the event. Some of you are carrying around some baggage that you need to let go of. Right? Have you ever tried to drive somewhere with your parking brake on? It's smelly. You can't get very far. It's a little bit outside your driveway before you hit nowhere fast. That's what many of us are doing by carrying emotional baggage around. What do I mean by that? Somebody told me once that I had skinny legs, and I literally didn't want to wear shorts for like 5 years. Right? Everyone's looking at my legs right now. Wondering, aren't you? And it just inhibits you. All of a sudden you think, I'm not good at that, or I'm not cut out for that. It could be, I shared this story about my dad. Some of you heard this story. My dad is a wonderful man. He's provided for us in a way that I'll always forever grateful. He was always the CFO of companies, and he made a lot of, he provided a good living for us, but I always was like, well, when are you going to do your thing? I mean, he would come home in high school, and I would have circulars on the counter wanting to buy a GNC franchise when we first started. Then it was Cold Stone Creamery when they were first getting started. I was always trying to get him to, I would family business, I'd work there, and he just would never take that risk. So how do you think he felt when I dropped out of college the first day? Oh man. And he had some success in the gym business, didn't really acknowledge it. Had some success in lead generation, just didn't really get it. And all I really wanted was to say he's proud of me. That's all. I mean, this day I still kind of long for it. And I know he is, but he's just one of those harder, prideful men. And so we started this network marketing thing. At first, he totally laughed at me. Told me that I was stupid for thinking that this is a business that I can be successful at. Because he had tried it, and my mom was working with him. So who was I to think that I could succeed at it? And why don't I go get a real job? Why don't I go back to college? I heard that over and over and over again. So we started having some success, and we ended up getting featured in this magazine called Network Marketing Times Magazine. The article's still out there on the internet. We were labeled as the first family of network marketing style in the way that we were building with my family being present. My kids were at the events. My son spoke at his first event at 12 years old about leadership and what it's been like to have his mom and dad at home with him every single day. He's now 19 and engaged. So this magazine comes out. And just like any young boy, anytime something good happened in my life, I would call my mom. I wanted to, and my mom was always so proud. I lost my mom a couple of years ago. Actually, by the way, one last time I was with her, I was at the Golden Nugget, and I totally forgot that. And I'm staying there, and I walked in there last night, and as soon as I walked in, I saw her standing there, and it was just like, oh my gosh, is she renewed her vows here with my dad? Sorry. But so I would always call her, and share these moments. She passed away. But had a moment, I wanted to just share it. I shared it with my dad, and you know what he said to me? He said, man, it's really, really good, son. He says, could you just imagine how much success you would have had in college? At that point in my life, I was making $500,000 a year. Wow. That's what 3 times probably what he made, which isn't about that, but that's my, So yeah, I'm just saying, there's emotional baggage that we all carry. You gotta let it go. I've learned now that that's just my dad. It's not, it's who he is. I'm never gonna change that. And I know that he's proud of me. I know he's proud of me for the husband that I am, the father that I am. So I know that I don't need his approval anymore. And some of you guys are, you rely too much on other people's approval for your happiness and for this business. It's you back because you're worried about what people think of you. You're worried about what people are going to think of you if you're in network marketing. There are people that are out there that think that they're too good for network marketing. I'm friends with a lot of them. They don't take me serious at all. Like the people that laughed at me, some of my friends, they're not my friends anymore because I got into this business. Now, there's a lot of them that came back and said, hey, listen, I need to know what it is you do and how you live the life that you live. Now I have their respect. I didn't when I first started for those first few years. Just know this, ignorance from small-minded people is the price that you will have to pay to be successful in this business. I want you to write that down. Ignorance from small-minded people is the price that you have to pay to be successful in this business. So you need to let go of that baggage right now because you can't pay your bills with other people's opinions. You can't. And you know what? Those people that are doubting you right now, man, that should give you something to prove. Who was it that talked about having something to prove the other day? It lit a fire. Who was that on our team call the other night? Alexis talking about how she had something to prove. Man, I felt that. I've got something to prove too. It's Crystal, that's right. So you got to turn that into fuel, turn that doubt into more fuel to go out there. But you got to let go of what people think of you because at the end of the day, they're not thinking much. They're worried about their own problems. It's not that they don't care about you, but they're so focused on worrying about paying their bills. Do you think that when I reach out to someone the way I did with Michael, do you think that somebody's like, whatever, no, loser? Like, who cares? I don't want them in my life if that's the way they think anyways. So let go of the baggage. And then the other thing I want you to expect is distractions when you make a bigger decision, okay? Because distractions are going to come your way. We've talked about how some of them are financial, some of them are relational. And then here's one that I really want you to pay attention to. Your time. You're going to have other things that try to compete for your time. I believe this is the adversary's way of trying to pull you off of your mission, pulling you off of this opportunity that can allow you to be able to live in abundance, to be able to rightfully claim what you deserve and what should be yours. I believe that it's the adversary saying, wait a second, I got to distract them every possible way that I can. So you know what? I'm going to do everything I can. And I think that social media is a huge distraction. I do. I looked at my phone the other day. I spent 6 hours on social media. But I want you to know, in one day. But I'm not just there reading your guys' stories. You know what I'm doing? I am networking like crazy. I am going out and networking on purpose. I'm commenting on people's things. I'm developing content and writing content that I know will attract my audience. I've got 7 or 8 different groups that I run now, and I'm developing content for each one of those groups. One's an entrepreneurial-minded group. One's the DNA nutrition group. One's a new group that focuses on mental illness. Another one, because I want to attract different people, and I'm going to contribute content that will put me in a position of authority so that I establish their trust, because guess what? Trust drives revenue, so that eventually I can develop a relationship with them, so that eventually I can reach out to them and say, hey, listen, do you keep your options open? You see how that works? So I'm spending a lot of time on there, but social media for many people is a huge distraction. They just do this. It's almost like it's scary, mindless. It's like 1 a.m, I got to go to sleep. Let me go over to Instagram one more time. What's going on over here? All right, I got to go to sleep. Let me just check. Let me refresh my Facebook one more time. Let's see what's going on. Let's see if Michael's still up at 2:30 in the morning posting. Yeah, he is. He's still over there posting. Right? So you got to be careful. And by the way, I don't mean that as he's on social media. I mean that he is still working. He's the only guy I know that's texting me at 2:30. I purposely will not respond to him like at 1:30 in the morning. He'll text me, and he knows that I'm awake sometimes. And I'm like, if I respond, he's going to call me right now. And I don't want him to call me right now because I'm sitting next to my baby and in bed. So I can't do it. We just had this conversation the other day. So distractions. All right, so let's, distractions, the destruction of your dream.
Distractions are the destruction of your dream, and you have to be aware of it. And guys, this is super, super important that you prepare yourself from the beginning, because if we're prepared, then we know how to address it when it comes up. The other distractions that's going to come your way is, you know what? It'll happen in the next, I'd say 6 months for sure, maybe 90 days. Someone is going to come into your inbox, and you know what they're going to say? Man, there's this opportunity over here, and people are making a lot of money. They're making, oh man, it's the newest thing. This company, people over here getting in, and like in 24 hours, they're making like $30,000 checks. And you know what? You got to come take a look at what I'm doing. The grass is greener on the other side. Guys, the adversary knows that you're 3 feet away from gold. So you got to be ready for that when it happens. You have to keep your blinders on. You know why horses and horse race are those blinders? It's to stay focused on the end goal, right? What happens if you take your eye off of the prize for just a moment? If you're driving and you take your eye off the prize, you look to the right or left, what happens? You start to drift. And it's not long before you're off course. It doesn't take long at all before all of a sudden you could potentially cause an accident. It's the same thing in this business. You've got to stay focused. That's why it's so important to be crystal clear on where it is that you're going. You got to play to win. You got to play to win here, not just a lot of people in life, they're surviving. People believe that maxed out credit cards and broken dreams is the norm, and it's not. I'm here to tell you guys that that's not the norm. You know, they're playing not to lose, but they're certainly not playing to win. And when I play to win, I play all out. I play all out when it comes to winning. And so you guys have to do the same thing. Belief. Let's talk a little bit about belief. So there's 3 types of belief that you're going to need in this business. Number 1 kind of belief, and the most important, is belief in yourself. Why would anybody else believe in you if you don't believe in yourself? How are you going to convict anybody else to your cause if you don't believe in yourself? It's time to stop doubting yourself. You have everything that it takes to be successful in this business. You don't need to be a superstar speaker. I didn't speak well when I first started in this business. I was terrified. I had anxiety coming here today. You know, I have social anxiety. I struggle being around people. It's hard for me. Like once I get into it, I'm okay. But listen, you're just like everybody. You don't need to be this super. You have what it takes to be successful already inside of you. It all comes from right here. This is really what it takes to build this business. So you got to have belief in yourself. The second kind of belief that you have to have is belief in your products. If you're not a product of the product, if you're not taking it the way you should, or you're not ordering the product every month. And I mean, I get these people that are in my businesses that are, you know, they don't order the product on a monthly basis, but they want to go out and sell it. Or, hey, I'll go out and talk to some people first and see if they're interested before I order my kit. Dude, that to me is the most backwards thinking possible. If you're not truly baptized and convicted, you're never going to be able to recruit other people to your cause. So you have to have belief in your products. That comes from personal testimonials. It also comes from plugging into the system. It's why do you think that we call somebody up during a meeting to share their testimonial? Why do you think we do that? To build belief. To potentially, and by the way, for those of you when you are called on to share a testimonial, you're sharing your testimonial because you know that there's somebody in the audience that might relate to you and go, I'm experiencing the same things. I have felt the same way. That's the point of a testimonial. And then you have to have belief in your company, that this is going to allow you to go from where you are to where you want to go. How many of you truly believe, I'm talking about deep down, burning white hot, inside here, that this company is going to take you from where you are to where it is that you want to go? You don't have to raise your hand if you don't really believe it yet. You got to get there. You've got to have that unwavering, relentless belief. I'm at a point with my belief system right now where I have to tell everybody, I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission. Now more than ever before in the history of our economy, people are looking for solutions and they have no idea where to turn. They're looking for more time in their life to be able to do the things that they want to do rather than the things they have to do. They're working way more hours. Many people are working second jobs just to be able to make ends meet. People are looking for more money to be able to just pay the bills. Raise your hand if you know somebody that's going to go to bed tonight saying a prayer asking for financial solutions. Every one of you. But yet you're afraid to share the opportunity with somebody, right? Think about that for a moment. People are desperately, do you realize this is the first generation in our lifetime where our children will not outlive their parents? First time, first generation, that our children will not outlive their parents based on the way we're going right now. And it has to do with our health. So we have what people are looking for, and it's time that you start acting like it. You have the golden goose. If you had the golden goose, you'd be walking around like it. Check out what I got, Dave. Look, check this out. You want to say, look at what I got. You'd walk around with that confidence, your shoulders back, your head up. You wouldn't be afraid to talk to the doorman. I talked to the doorman at Golden Nugget today, and I shared the opportunity with him, got his phone number. That's how you would act. That's how you would walk. That's how you would talk. So you've got to have that. You've got to carry that belief system in yourself. Business approach versus customer approach. Let's talk a little bit about that. People always ask me, how should I build the business? Should I focus on a business approach or should I focus on customers? The answer is yes. Whatever works for you. I mean, seriously, whatever works for you. A customer approach, this is the first time in my life that I've actually used a customer approach. For 14 years, I've built just business because I'm a business-minded individual and I recruited people about opportunity and money. And it worked well. I made some great money doing it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of people out there searching for opportunities. But we got a product that's different and unique than anything else. And I finally just had an aha moment recently. And some of you have heard me talk about her, but Heidi Rasmussen is a customer of mine. And I brought her into the business, and she said up front to me, Travis, I do not want to build the business. I'm not interested. I said, okay, love for you to be my customer. So she comes in, and I checked on her when she first got her product. Back up. So she got the DNA kit, and as soon as she got the DNA kit, I told her, I says, listen, as soon as you get it, I need you to text me. She texts me, DNA kit's here. I says, great, are you free for a call? She says, yeah. I called her up, and I says, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I need you to open it up, and let's go ahead and do a swab with me on the phone right now. Guys, that's $1 million tip. How many of you have sent people DNA kits and they still haven't swabbed yet? Or they're waiting to get that swab? So right away, I said, listen, I want you to swab right now with me on the phone. Okay, did you put it in the envelope? All right, I'm staying on the phone with you until you walk out now to the mailbox. Or I want you to film a mailbox video today for me if you feel like you're up to it. But customers might not be ready for that yet. So I had her do her swab. Okay, now I want you to go over to ustart.com and register. And go through that process, because there's some questions there. That step sometimes for some people, they're like, oh, am I being charged another 100 and whatever right now? And sometimes people will avoid that. So I walked her through that. Okay, that's owning your business. So then from there, she sent it away, started taking a pre-trition. 14 days later, I checked in and said, hey, has your report come yet? She said, should be coming any time in the mail. I said, I want you to text me as soon as you get it. So she texted me. I called her up. Do you have any questions? She did. So I sent her the little how to read your report video. We talked about it a little bit. And then from there, at 30 days in, she got her, again, personalized nutrition shows up. Any questions? Here's how you take it. Okay, she had some questions about how you take the product, when to take it. So we talked about that. So at day 45, I reached out to Heidi again and I says, how's it going? Amazing. I feel unbelievable. She's had all these amazing, testimonials about the product. I says, do you want to get your product for free? Yeah, I'd love to get my product for free, but I don't want to build the business. It's okay, you don't have to build the business, but are you willing to just tell people the results that you've had so far? She says, yeah. I says, would you put a post together on Facebook and just share it? You can tell people that you're not building the business. She says, yeah, I could do that. So she writes this post. It was brilliant. I didn't even help her write it. And she writes this post and says, listen, I want everybody to know that I'm not building this as a business. I'm just sharing this because I've had a wonderful response from it, and many of you might be struggling too. Here are the results that I've had. Travis is my DNA dealer. If anybody's interested, go talk to Travis. So she had like 60 results. And I realized the reason why she had such a great response was two reasons. Number one, in her mind, she didn't have any fear of sharing it because she didn't attach anything to it. A lot of times we we feel guilty or we feel weird about sharing something because we're going to get paid. And it kind of convolutes things up here. We start to second guess ourselves, right? Because there's money attached to it. The other thing is on the other side, sometimes people will avoid because even if you have something that they need, they'll avoid it for whatever reason just because they have to spend money on it. And people resist, right? They put up a wall at a subconscious level. Everybody wants to buy, but nobody wants to be sold. So what happened was she shared it freely, beautifully, with no weirdness. And then her audience responded because she had no agenda. So she had all these people. I said, all I need you to do is just introduce me to them on a messenger. So all of a sudden, my mailbox starts going off. Hey, Lucy, this is Travis. He's my DNA dealer. He'll answer any questions you have. Boom, 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 boom. She got 12 customers in the next 7 days. This is somebody who doesn't want to build a business. And I'm like, wait a second. What just happened? And I realized that there's three categories of people in this company. There's customers, and then we always call them members, but there's a third category that we're ignoring called referral partners. And that referral partner just got me 12 people in my business. And if I have 80% of my organization that's close to 5,000 people that are customers, which is about 4,000 customers in my organization, and if every one of them just referred 3 people, I tripled the size of my business. You guys, do you realize, do you see that? So for me, I've stopped ignoring the customers, and I've started embracing the customer approach in addition to the business approach. Now, I will tell you, my first 30 days, it was strictly business for me. I mean, I didn't have time to go after customers yet. You know what I did in my first 30 days is I said, I'm going to launch my business, and I'm going after it, and I'm going for business-minded individuals, and I'm reaching out, and I'm telling them what I'm about to do, who I'm about to do it with, that we're on the ground floor, and this is going to be the biggest thing I've ever done, and I'm going to ask them if I can send them a presentation. And I sent them the Ron Williams, Eric Worre presentation. I told them, listen, when you watch it, I need you to text me as soon as you've watched it. I need to hear from you as soon as you've watched it. So for me, in the first 30 days, it was about the business. And then it still is. I still look for business-minded individuals, but now I'm finding a lot of comfort in just having fun and conversations with bringing customers into my business and nurturing those customers that way. So there is a great business approach. The business approach, again, is very simple. It is sharing your big vision. Sharing why you're doing the business. That why that you shared was so beautiful that if you shared that with another friend and said, here's why I'm doing this, and here's how I feel now about the future, here's where I was. This is where I've been, and this is what I'm happy with. And you know what? A friend of mine shared me called Üforia, and for the first time I feel empowered. For the first time I feel like I can change my legacy. For the first time I feel like I can be an example for my children. And you know what? I've never felt more confident about where it is that I'm going. And I would love to just share a video with you. Would you be open to taking a closer look? That's your biggest asset. That is your biggest asset. So share your story. You got to be able to share it. You got to be able to relate it. You got to be able to dictate it. You got to be able to communicate it. And as we kind of get towards the end here, you know, just a couple of systems that have worked really well for me. ATM system. You guys know I'm a big fan of ATM. ATM stands for add, tag, and message. You guys do it beautifully. You guys message like crazy. So I love the way that you guys are already doing it. Add is just adding people to our DNA Nutrition Testimonials group. That group is on fire. There's like 5,500 people in that group, testimonials that are coming in on a regular basis. Best thing you can do, as soon as I start talking to somebody about the product or even the business, I get them in that group. Because I know that some people are going to avoid me a decision right away. They write these 4 things down. And as a network marketing professional, you have 4 main responsibilities. Number 1, it's to notify people of what you're up to. Number 2, so number 1 is notify people of what you're up to. Number 2 is to invite them to take a closer look. Number 3 is to follow up, answer any questions they might have. By the way, if they're asking questions, then there's interest there, just so you know. Your job is to put them in front of the right tools or the right people, connect them to your experts at that point. And number 4 is collect decisions. Most people do really good at 1 and maybe 2, and then they kind of fall short on 3 and 4. They think that people are just going to reach out to them when they're ready, and it doesn't work that way. You got to just keep following up and following up and following up until they give you a decision. Yes. So first is you notify people of what you're up to. Number 2 is you invite them to take a closer look. Number 3 is you follow up and answer any questions they have. And number 4 is you collect decisions. And the magic is you do that in as short a period of time as possible. Without a sense of urgency, all value is lost. If it takes me 3 weeks to get through that process, then your prospect won't see the value. This is happening now. You know my 2 favorite words are? Right now. It's happening right now, Michael. And you guys realize this is all happening right now. We haven't even launched yet. This is pre-launch. Guys, this is happening right now. I'm working with the world's leading authority when it comes to DNA nutrition. We've just introduced a product that's going to change the entire supplement industry. It's happening right now. Michael, I'm going to send you a presentation. I need you to take a look at it today. And I want you to text me as soon as you've done, because this is all coming together right now. I'm working very, very closely with the owner, and the people that choose to align with us right now are going to make a fortune. If I send you over the presentation, will you watch it? Right now. It's happening right now. Urgency, urgency, urgency. So ATM, add them to the group and let people drip on them. Let them see the testimonials. Let them build belief. It's happened to me now at least 20 times where somebody, wasn't ready to give me a decision yet. So I added them to the group. And all of a sudden, somebody posted something, a testimonial, and it resonated with them, and they called me up and said, I'm ready to order the product now, because they read somebody's testimonial. So that's valuable. So what I would do is add them to the group, tag them on relevant information in the group. I tag my prospects that are in process. I have a spreadsheet of every prospect I have in process. And I read it, I look at it, and I make sure that at least once a week I tag them on something in that group. And then I open up a text messenger saying, hey, so-and-so, Mr. Prospect, I want to introduce you to Ron. I want to introduce you to Mike. I want to introduce you to, Maria. I want to introduce you to, she's got an amazing testimonial. They can help answer any questions you have. So you just ATM over and over and over again. It's a simple, duplicatable system. The customer acquisition program, I've already explained it to you. We have the scripts that I shared with you on the questions that you ask those customers, those 4 main questions. Do you currently take supplements? All of that is available for you. If you go to Legacy, just under our learning library, you can download those. And finally, the last thing is I want to share the big picture with you. So I want you to write these numbers down. I'm going to close with this, and I'm going to do this best as I can by memory. So let's just say that your business in the first year, 12 months goes by, and you got to the point now where if you look back at that 12 months, you could say that your business grew by 3 people a day on average. 3 people a day, and your entire team came into your business as a customer or a business builder, okay? Now, the first 3 months, you might have 1 a week. Then you'll get to the point where you get to that point where you want to pay attention to your daily number. Your daily number is how many people came into your business, right? But then the second 3 months, you might start seeing to get to the point where you're at 1 a day. And then it'll start getting to 2, 3, 4, 5 a day, and it starts to pick up some momentum. And so let's say after that first year, you average just 3 new people, 3 sales per day in your business. It's $35,000 a year in income. Okay? School teacher, average school teacher, starting point for an officer, a customer service rep at most companies, same income as them. Let's say that you kept going, though, in the second year, and you kept focusing, and now your business went to 5 sales per day. At the end of the second year, you averaged it out. How many sales did it get on average over that second year period? You've now gone to $65,000 a year in income. Just 5 sales a day in your business. Averaging 5 sales a day, $65,000 a year. Now you're making more than the average household income in the United States, which is $4,120 per combined couple household income in the United States right now. Okay? So now you're at about $65,000 a year. Let's say that you kept going in year 3, and now you started to pick up some momentum. Now you've got an organization, and now you're starting to hit about 15 sales a day on average. You're now at $180,000 a year in income. $180,000 a year in income is equivalent to a medical practitioner, doctor, top-tier pharmaceutical rep. You're among the top 2% earners in the world at $180,000 per year. 3 years. The daily number is what matters. But I want you to think about that. Just 15 sales, is that a lot? 15 sales per day. Is that a realistic number to get to in your business? Organizational. So the key is your daily number. You just want to move that daily number. I look at my daily number every day, just so you guys know how to do this. If you go into your back office and you click on statistics, front page, it's on your home page. Just go down to statistics. It opens up. You can do personal or team, and then you can go down and you can see sales volume. And then if you go over to the right, there's a little pie. It's a little circle, and you can open up that pie. And if you hover over it, it tells you your dollar sales per day, dollar sales per week, dollar sales per month. And it shows you how many reps came into your business every day, every week, or every month. And I look at those numbers like crazy. I believe whatever you track can be measured. Whatever you can measure, you can improve on. So for me, think about that for a moment. My question to you is this. If it took you 3 years to get to $180,000 per year, would it be worth it? Is there anything else you can go do right now that in 3 years you can be at $180,000 a year income? If it took you 5 years, but it was true residual income and you had $180,000 a year income, residual, would it be worth it, even if it took you 5 years? Here's the thing. That time is going to pass anyways. Whether you do the business or not, that time will pass. Whether you choose to act or not, there are people in this room that are going to get to that point because of their commitment, their consistency. So the question is are you willing to put that time and effort and consistency in? Are you willing to sacrifice up front so that you can have the quality of life that you deserve down the road? Do today what others won't so you can live tomorrow like others can't. That's what this is really all about. So with that, I want to close by just saying this. 26th of the month, yesterday, I looked at those numbers. We blew through, as a team, our best month ever. We blew through it on a total sales volume by over 15,000 in sales yesterday with still 5 days left of the month. It's the best month that this company's ever had. It's also the best month this team has ever had. We blew through 425 new customers and members that have come into this team officially as of the 26th, yesterday. So 426 new people have joined the team by the 26th with still 5 days left. And you guys are a huge part of that, like a huge part of that. The business is picking up momentum. We're no longer just in that infancy stage. We've graduated. So the question is are you picking up the momentum and picking up the pace as well? So with that, I want to say thank you guys very much from the bottom of my heart for your commitment, your dedication, and just your beautiful spirits. I'm honored and grateful to be among you guys and to have you on.
Yeah, we'll do yeah, keep clapping. Travis, that was amazing, brother. Thank you so much. He's a hop, skip, and a jump away. He's down in Gilbert, Arizona, but I'm not going to overexpose him like we've overexposed Ron. One of the reasons why we don't have 150 to 200 people here today is because we've been consistently doing Super Saturdays for the past month, so it's lost a little bit of luster. As a leader, I take full responsibility for that, just so you know, but there should be a lot more people here. I'm looking at it from a positive perspective, not being negative. Would you guys agree there's probably about 5 or 10 people on each of your teams that probably should have been here for this? We should outgrow this house really soon. And one more time, I want to thank Shasta and Jessica for opening up their home for all of us. I mean, it really takes a team to build this. You can't do this thing alone. It's truly incredible. Travis can't do this alone. You know, you guys can't do this alone. So I want to spend the last 10 minutes of our time together and just make sure we go over some things so you guys are all on the same page. So if you're still taking notes, write this down. The key to our success as a team is to be on the same page and to plug in. Same page and to plug in. This is a business. And he said so many things that just were incredible. Would you guys agree? Was Travis amazing? You still have that marker? Or you're going to take that home with you? Yeah. I know, it's weird. You always love the whiteboard, and he didn't even use it. Maybe you don't like my whiteboard. So guys, let me paint a vision for you. If Craig Goldberg would help me out with this too, that would be great. Craig is one of the top leaders of our team, guys. He's one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my network marketing career. That's why you always see me give him tons of accolades. He is really, if everyone was like Craig Goldberg, and I think every single one of you in this room is amazing, but if everyone put the effort and everyone took the responsibility to lead the way that this man leads, we would literally create the biggest frenzy this world's ever seen before. I really, truly believe that. So I want to give him a lot of accolades right now. I'm drawing the McDonald's. Yeah, clap it up, man. So Craig, I want you to pull up TeamU for everyone on the computer for us. See, I still get to kind of tell them what to do, which is nice. So I drew that out there for McDonald's. How many people know about McDonald's? You know the story of McDonald's? Raise your hand. Travis said something, a few things today that made me say, okay, the last 10 minutes, I want to talk about the system. For those of you who are guests here today, I want to let you know that this right here, this word, can everyone see this? What does that say? Duplicate. Very good. You got it. Very good. So I coined this concept actually when I met Travis. We were in that last company together. And when we were building that company, I said, my 17-year career in this profession, and I only really worked about 5 years. The other 12, I was completely retired, laying in my bed doing nothing. This can give you financial freedom. I'm not saying doing nothing was fun. It was actually the most miserable time of my life because I didn't have a direction in my life. When I say direction, when I woke up in the morning, I didn't know where I was going. Any of you ever been so directionless that you get in your car sometimes, you just drive around, you don't know where you're going? Anyone else here ever do that? I did that for about a decade. It was miserable. Oh, it drove me stir crazy. So years ago, I built a website like this for a team. And I want to paint the picture of what happened. And Travis just told me before the meeting, he said, I'm so glad you do this stuff, Mike, because I don't. So the things that he is really strong at as a leader, I'm not as strong at. The things that he is not as strong at, I am as strong at. Now imagine that's only 2 people. What if we have hundreds of leaders coming together? When you get 100 brains to go in the middle of a table, you guys know that that's called a mastermind. Sometimes it's just 2 people putting their heads together and creating something beautiful that could change the world. Would you agree that Mark Zuckerberg changed the world? Facebook changed the world. Hate it, love it. I don't care where you are. The guy's a freaking genius. Every single one of us could have come up with that idea. Everyone just meet online and hang out and put your picture and your story and your kids and your dog. Yeah, that's going to be $1 billion idea. You're a whack job. That's never going to work. He had the vision. He invited 9 people into his dorm room and 7 said no. 2 said yes. 2 are multi-billionaires. The other 7, I'd like to interview them today. What were you thinking? Didn't you see? It's real easy to see something when it already happens, though, isn't it? It's very hard to see it when it doesn't happen. Well, this company, so I did this years ago. I built a site like this. So if you're new here today, write this down, teamu.biz. TeamU, that's our logo. It's our current logo. We're going to clean it up on August 10th. And we're going to build a brand here with Üforia, with our team, that looks every bit as professional as the actual company. That's the goal. Why? Because there's power in numbers. There's power with a network. We're building a network. I would pay $500 to $1,000 a month just to be a part of your lives every month and get together twice a week and just do this kind of stuff. Forget about Üforia. Forget about the product. If you told me it's $1,000 membership to be a part of this group of people coming together a couple times a week and a couple times online to learn and grow and become better than we were yesterday, who's in? That's what I love about this. We really only talk about this for about 10 minutes. Seriously, think about that. We talk about this. You know what Üforia is? It's a vehicle. It's something that you can get in and drive for the next 24 to 36 months. And if you do it right and follow a very simple, duplicatable system, it could give you whatever you want in your life. Anything, everything. Now you're looking at a guy who's made millions in this industry, made $100,000 a month. How many people know what it's like to make $100,000 a month consistently for a year or so? Anybody? Okay, let me tell you what it's like. Woo! There's no way to describe it. I remember the first morning I woke up and my check was $107,000. I was shaking like a leaf on a tree. Now, I shouldn't have been, because the whole time it was growing before my eyes, but there was something about logging in that day and seeing a little pie chart that said $107,956. And I did this. So what I do, I called one of my best friends who was a part of that business a year before. And it's amazing. Timing's everything, right? He joined in the beginning when things weren't very good. And he quit. He's one of my best friends named Anthony Campitelli. And if he watches this right now, because he's on our team page, he still hasn't joined us. Anthony experienced this 12 years ago, just so you know. So 2006, May of 2006, I built a website just like this that went from 700 hits. A year later, 2.2 million hits. He quit the month that had 700 hits. A year later, this website kept getting view after view after view after view after view. 2.2 million hits that morning. I woke up, my check was $107,000. Now, I want to be really careful to tell you, you have to work pretty damn hard to make $107,000 in 1 month. You got to change a lot of people's lives. You got to do a lot of phone calls. If you're faint of heart or you're not thick-skinned, this business is not for you. I'm pretty thick-skinned. I'm a tough kid from Buffalo, New York that never had a family that had any money. Anybody like that here? Grew up in a family, didn't have any money? I didn't know what a vacation was till I turned 35. Didn't even know what it was. So we built this site, and all of a sudden, 107, I'm like, oh my God. I called my mom first. I go, Mom, I just made $107,000. What? I go, Mom, you saw this coming, right? Like 2 months ago, it was 57,000. She goes, you made 100,000. Honey, I'm so proud of you. First thing I did was call my best friend who quit a year before. And I said, Tony, you're not going to believe this, dude. I swear you got to see this. You got to see this. And I'm sure you've done this before too. I go, log into this website. So he logged into the website. And I go, click here, like he was just explaining to you how to see your daily numbers. I still don't know how to do that, by the way. I got to learn. I'm too focused on all of you helping you build a business. I let Travis do all the number stuff. Hey, Travis, report to me monthly. Tell me how good we did. I just want to help Jim Joe. I want to help John Matzis. I want to teach you guys how to build this. And I go, he clicks here, and he sees the 100 and say, I'm shaking when I'm talking to you guys. And he looks at the 100. It was life-changing for me. And he goes, what am I looking at here? I go, the number with the big yellow bar that's shooting up to the top of the webpage. What does it say? He said 107,956. He goes, what does this mean? I go, that was my check this month. Dead silence on the phone. Matter of fact, one day he will come here and tell you the story himself. You got to hear this. Dead silence. I'm like, Tony, did I just talk for 10 minutes and you're gone? I can't believe it. Stupid phone. What's wrong with my phone? No, I'm here. I'm like, so you see it? And he goes, dude, I'm so happy for you. And you know what I heard in his voice? I didn't hear him happy for me. I heard him sad for him. You know what's funny? When we go to our friends and family with something great, we just expect them to be like, yes, it's great, but it's not for them if it's not them that's having fun, right? So a lot of times when you bring this to people or bring something exciting to people, they hear your excitement, it turns them off. He came to town, and next week he joined the business again, just so you know. I asked him to get in front of 300 people at a local meeting here in town, and he shared the story. And when he shared the story, tears rolling down his face. He goes, I want to tell you all, the first second I realized Michael made 107,000, I was elated for Michael. And the next split second later, I was envious and jealous and pissed off and angry. Why? Because I was freaking there in the very beginning. And I stopped coming to the meetings because the comp plan wasn't right, because this fell apart, or this leader was a jerk, and this person was arrogant, and the system, the meeting sucked. Somebody brought a dog and a baby. I can't join a business with a dog and a baby in the meeting room. All these distractions, like he's saying. And I'm just like, man, I feel bad that you missed this. But brother, this is the beginning of my career. I'm going to make $1 million a month. I'm going to make $2 million. If you can make 100 grand, can you make 200,000? If you make 200,000, you think you can make 400,000? I know this is crazy to all of some of you. But man, you got to be, write this down. You got to be a little crazy if you want to make some crazy money. You got to think a little bit different than your neighbor. I like to say crazy people make crazy money. Call me freaking insane. And I'm not about the money, just so you know. You know why I'm here? Yeah. I'm here because of freedom. I tasted freedom years ago, but you know what? I only got a nibble. A nibble. I get a little itty bitty bite. It's like having a little Hershey's chocolate. Not good. You want the whole bar, right? I got a little taste of it, and then that company went down. I've waited 10 years to do this again. 10 years. Build this system again. McDonald's had the best system in the world. Do you agree? Here's a work assignment for all of you. I don't have to do. You might. And I don't even watch TV or movies. I watch commercials. 18 hours working with all of you. And I just turn the movie on Netflix, and I keep watching this movie over and over again. This movie is the best bet to take this McDonald's little store in San Bernardino, California, and turn it into a franchise. The McDonald's brothers, Dick and Maurice, didn't have the vision to execute what Ray Kroc, the ice cream machine salesman, wanted to turn this into. Ray Kroc is McDonald's, not Dick and Maurice McDonald. And Ray Kroc, when you watch this movie, goes through everything that him and I go through on a daily basis. Guys, we are in the franchising business. And here's the biggest problem with us, with Üforia, versus Ray Kroc with McDonald's. When people bought those franchises back then, they had to put in their hard-earned money to start it. And that was the difference, like he talked about. If you pretend like this costs you $100, if you, in your mind, actually physically write yourself a check, $500,000 is what I paid. My mentor, when I sat down with him, he said, young man, you don't even know me. I'm 62 years old. I'm completely retired. I don't have to work with you, so let's get things straight. Imagine this conversation. Let's get things straight. I'm here to change your life, not the other way around. Everything I ask you to do, you do it. If you don't, I don't work with you. My mentor. Now, some of you think I'm hard on you. Nowhere near as hard as my mentor was on me. He said, if you don't wear collar shirts every time you're in this business, don't even call me. Don't even call me. Man, he was hard on me. But you know what? It was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Raise your hand if I've been hard on you in this room. I just want to see who doesn't like me. Proud of that. Football. My coach, I thought, was the biggest prick you've ever met in your entire life. My coach used to grab me by the face mask. I played football at a pretty high level. Grab my back. I called mom, and I'm like, man, mom, my coach hates me. And my mom, he shouldn't treat you like that, not my son. And you know what? When my college career was over, and I made it to the NFL, I should have played for 10, 15 years. Long story. When my college career was over, I put so much energy on this man that coached me, not liking me. And realized one day, he didn't not like me. He freaking loved me. He loved me enough to keep coaching me. He loved me enough to pick me up. I screwed up. He loved me enough to yell at me in front of the other players and embarrass me. Zappia, it's called a fade. What the hell was that? I didn't know the playbook. I didn't know the system. I didn't know how to duplicate. I screwed up all over the football field. I had so much talent, though it didn't matter. Wrong route, still scored a touchdown. I come back to the sideline. Whoa! He's looking at me. He's like, what the hell was that? That wasn't even a play, jackass. I'm looking at the scoreboard going, but there's 6 up there. Yeah, but you didn't follow the system, man. Don't you get it? Don't you get it? I got a playbook. I need you to follow the playbook. Man, when you take life that seriously, you succeed. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. So we have a system. It's called TeamU. TeamU is our name of our team. TeamU.biz is our system, .biz. Here. Go there, cue me. In the next 24 hours, I would do it right after here. 1-minute intro, 13-minute presentation, 8-minute company video. That's the best video I've ever seen since I've been in network marketing. And if you want to get to know the CEO, don't watch the founder this Saturday night. Watch Ron Williams, our founder. Watch that guy first. 1 hour and 42 minutes and 35 seconds of pure brilliance. When I created this, I said I have to create a system that someone like you, who's new, when you get here, you can go get all the goods. And then when you call back the person who invited you, you have one thing to say to them: how do I get started? See, I did this years ago, and we're doing it again. And this is such a vital part of our team and our system. Pretty soon, Travis and Craig and Berlin and Stefan and Mike and the leaders here are going to be all over this website with me. We're going to have a recognition tab up here, an About Us tab. We are literally building the biggest network in the world here around the vehicle of Üforia. And I want to let you know your face is going to be on there, your picture is going to be on there, your video is going to be on there too. The vision of this is to build one website that is the one-stop shop for all of us. So long as we are counting on Facebook's algorithms to run our business, we are never going to build the business we want. This website is the ticket to us building the most amazing team that this industry's ever seen. So we are the McDonald's system for network marketing. That logo right there, my vision over the next 2 years is for Duplicate to be as recognizable as the frickin' Golden Arches. Because I believe that with leadership like this, and people like Ron, the owner, and the talented people that are in this room, stepping up every single day and growing, I believe we're going to make the biggest splash that this world's ever seen before. And it's not just about DNA nutrition. It's about personal and professional growth. We come here to get better as people. We want to grow spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, relationally, nutritionally, and financially. And there's so much packed into here. But TeamU, what we have on this site, is a system. And I'm going to draw it out on the board here, and then we are done for the afternoon. And hopefully you guys go out there and just start getting into action. You'll never hit a home run if you don't swing your bat. Get into action. Make that first phone call. Greg, I'm obviously a little bit slow.
Microphone's dead. You can put it down.
Oh, but anyway, you can get that system page to pop up?
Yeah. Can you hold that?
Yeah. That's the house. So what Craig's doing now, you draw it out for you. Now, Travis Flaherty is going to give you all his phone number, but here's the catch. He didn't know I was going to do this, but I want to say something before I give out his number, because I know he's pooping his pants as we speak right now. Yes. I want you guys to know what edification is. I'm going to need vital for our business. This is vital for our. Do I get permission? Do I have 4 minutes? He's literally sweating. I'm only going to give you his number for one reason. He talked about all of you launching your business. Launching your business. And I'm going to teach you this word called edification. He is so busy with 5,000 people that if all of you take his phone number and all of us start texting and calling him, he's going to hate me. And he's going to be way too busy. But I want to give you permission. It is only on one condition, that you follow. What does a launch look like? That means you, when you decide to text him, if you dare to do this. What you're saying is, Travis, I'm going to go invite 50 to 100 people to get on a Zoom. His business right now where he has to work with the masses, not me. I'm getting there too, but I'm your local partner here, so I do dig in and do lunches and one-on-ones and Zooms with just 1 or 2 people. But with him, I want to protect him. And I want you to value what he just did today. And he can enroll anybody, just so you know. I don't care who you got. He is so lethally skilled and talented. He will make a friend with your friend and a group of people, and he will literally enroll a whole screen of people for you. You talk about 12 people with someone who's not even in the business. What do they do with you when you are in the business? So if you're going to use his number, put it in your phone. Here's what I ask of you. Don't use him for the onesie-twosies. I only want you to leverage him for launches. Are we cool? Fair enough. So it's really bold of me to do that, give out his number, because it's a tough thing to do when you have that many partners. But if you guys want to really launch your business, Travis will do a launch for you. I will, and so will the CEO. The CEO will do it for you as well. We're doing one on the 29th here on Monday in person in St. George. So, yes, sir.
If it were me, hearing what I just heard, my calendar over the next 30 days would be building for Michael Zappia, building for Travis Flaherty, building for Ron Williams, and I would have 3 events on my calendar by the end of this weekend. Literally, that would be my strategy in launching my business. And I don't even know if it would be over a month. It would probably be over the next couple of weeks. And I would let people know how important this is and just who is going to be on there. And I know Michael's going to teach that, but I would do all 3. I mean, personally, I would. If I had that opportunity to be able to get the top earner, you know, the number 2 earner and the owner of the company all doing webinars for you, your job is just to get them there. I mean, literally, think about that. You could use that as a means to launch your business in the next 10 days.
So, Travis, your phone number is?
801-809-8219.
So do me a favor, send him a text message right now. Everyone blow his phone up. When he's at the airport tonight and he leaves, when do you leave? When he leaves tonight and he's on the plane, I'm going to ask him to text every single one of you back. But when you text him now, just put in your first and last name and give him a little gratitude or a little appreciation for what you experienced today. Is that cool?
Yes.
He's going to lock you in his phone. He's going to put in the company line, TeamU, so he knows where you come from and how he met you. Sound cool? Some of you already have Travis's number. So we have a system in place. Craig pulled up on the screen here. We actually have a calendar that tells you everything that happens with this team every single day of the week. At 7 o'clock every morning, for the person who really wants to build this business, like really, really wants to build it, if you happen to have your eyes open at 7 a.m., you can get on the Zoom by just clicking on this button. The link will show up. Right on your phone, you can be with us. We've got an average of 35 people every morning at 7 a.m. on this. It's freaking awesome. There ain't the whole company doing that, am I right? Other teams don't have 30 their weekly meeting. We've got 35. We teach personal growth. It's a concept path changes. I'm here because a perfect stranger changed my path 17 years ago. I had a stranger that stood 6'4" that walked up to me at a local gym, that literally walked up to me and said, "Do you keep your options open?" And I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "Would you like me to move that building?" I said, "Yes, I would." And I walked in, and I met a man, like Travis said, if this guy can do it, why can't I do it? Him and his wife, infinity pool, 3/4 of the way around the house, Bentley in the garage. And I'm like, "What are you doing? What did you do?" Because you're Italian. This money? No, I was on the ground floor of this network marketing company 20 years ago. I'm like, what is network marketing? Day one for me. Inspired me so much that I had to do this business. So we teach personal and professional growth because this man changed my path. Years later, I made a lot of money. I made a lot of friends. I helped a lot of people. I said, wait a second. Does everyone here realize none of you would be here if it wasn't for the stranger over here who walked up to me at a local gym and just prospected me into this business? I was blown away by that. So when I wake up every single day, just so you know, my goal, one goal in life, every single day is to change the path today. I've heard hundreds of people in my phone that I've met, strangers, over the past 3 months since I've been in this program that I still haven't followed up with because I'm too busy following. And I actually, believe it or not, it's stress for me. I have anxiety over the hundreds of people in the phone that are waiting for me to change their path the way that mine was changed 17 years ago. That's how I live my life. It's a responsibility to do this, not an option or a choice. So we meet every morning to do personal and professional growth for 20 minutes a day. When he tries to come on here and do one of these, this is when he takes his kids to school. When all 6 of his kids are sick and in bed one day, he's going to join us at 8:20. And then throughout the week, you can see right here on Monday, Tuesday, he has the biggest team in the company. And his link to go watch his training on Monday night and his overview Üforia presentation on Tuesday night is right there on the schedule. That dark orange is Euphoria Legacy. That's the team that Travis has created. We call it the parent team. We're plugged in. There's no ego between us, just so you know. We're two guys who truly love and appreciate each other's expertise and support. And our goal is to build, quite frankly, the biggest network the world's ever seen. Change more lives than anybody else in the world. And we think we've got the vehicle to do it. Do you?
Yes.
So he does that on Monday, Tuesday. Everything in purple here are things that TeamU does. So 7 a.m. and then on Wednesday, I do a new nutritionist onboarding. So I get on there at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, and I go through everything that I'm kind of doing here. So once a week, Diamond Joe, as you keep bringing new people in, try them to Wednesday night, get them trained. I'll train them for you. Deal? However, when you watch that, I want you to learn it too, because there's times when you're going to want to train somebody yourself. We can try and automate everything, but try and automate a relationship. Doesn't work, right? They can have all the autoresponders and everything in the world. We can have the most perfect system, but if we don't add human beings to this, we lose every day of the week. This is a personal touch business. And then every Thursday and every Sunday, these are the two things that I want to highlight. These are the most important things as far as I'm concerned for our system. Every Sunday night at 6 p.m., we do a mentorship, leadership, recognition, teaching, and training Zoom. Why? Guys, we live in a world where if you aren't online, you're flatlined. If your business does not have an online approach, you're dead in the water. We teach high tech, high touch. So the way we not only build Vegas, although I love to just build Vegas, because you know what's great about Vegas? We build this, we spill over to every city in the world. Everyone in Vegas is from somewhere else. Think about it. We are in the epicenter of the world. If there was a capital of the world, capital of New York is Albany. Capital of Vegas is Carson City, correct? Is it? With your business. And you know the best part about this business? One day, one of you is going to meet someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows somebody in Japan. And one of you is going to open up Japan. And one of you is going to have a business, in my mind, of millions of dollars in Euphoria orders. They've got their own nutritionator in Japan. And it was because Mike told Ben, told Joe, told Dave, told Rebecca, told Tom, told Bill, told Tracy. Tracy opens up Japan, and all 7 of you that got Tracy involved were responsible for millions of dollars a month in Euphoria orders coming in. And you never have to once step foot in Japan, yet you have the biggest Euphoria business in Japan imaginable. Does anyone see that?
Yes.
That's the vision that I'm casting to you right now. This system here makes it possible for us to build a massive team in Las Vegas that spills over to the rest of the world. But while we're putting the majority of our focus here, don't forget about your front yard, which is every other city around the world, which is why we meet on Zoom, and we meet on Zoom to come together. Make sense? Yes. So here's the thing. If you're here, you've been a part of this business for any length of time, you should know this, yes? I don't want to handhold, neither does any other leader in here. We don't want to babysit. At first, I was worried how many people are going to show up to see Travis, because I didn't want to be embarrassed that I didn't do a good job putting enough people in front of this man. Because quite frankly, he deserved another 200 people here with what he taught today. But instead of me thinking backwards and beating myself up, I'm not doing that. I want to just thank you for being here, because you're the person that was supposed to be here. The people that are supposed to be here are here. And those that had something better to do on Saturday, that's okay. And if it was something real like family or work, then by all means. But if you made a choice to not be here today, and it's just, I'm going to sleep in, I don't think you're serious about the business, but I'm not obviously talking to you because you drove from St. George, Utah 2 weeks in a row. St. George, that's 2 hours away plus. And some of you, so just so you know, this is a process. Write that down, process. Your growth in this kind of a business, your growth as a person, your chance to learn from the best in the world, world class. He can dominate any stage in this industry, and there's nobody better. Maybe as good, but there's nobody better than Travis Flaherty. That you can bet your life on. What he taught you today was 16 years of wisdom from working his butt off, being mentored by the best, and he's better than George's. I know who his mentors are, and I'll take him over his mentors any day of the week. Some of you know who his mentor is. I won't mention his name publicly because I don't want to do that. So, process. The book you don't read won't help you. The Saturday meeting you don't go to won't grow your business. And how many people, by show of hands, are committed to Üforia and building a big business with this company? I want to leave you with this. Once you commit, once you decide, I want you to know the moment you sign up your first customer, your first business partner, you are responsible for them. Because what you do, Ben, they will do. Mike, what you do, they will do. And what you don't do, they won't do. I mean, they will do. They'll do exactly what you do and don't do. So when you show up, what happens? Your team shows up. But if you decide to treat this, like Travis said, a sometime business, oh boy, whatever you're currently doing as a career, keep doing it, because that's going to be your career. But in this thing, if you just show up a couple times a week online and a couple times locally in Vegas, and I got news for you, you have more fun in here. I couldn't imagine not doing this. Did anybody have fun today? Yeah. This is the business. Pretty soon, a year from now, when all of us are making 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 50, 100,000 a month or more, we get to do this on the beach together. By the way, whichever beach we choose. And you won't have to wonder if you have money to get there, because you're going to be a galactic genetic freak in this company, and you can do whatever you want. But right now, in the beginning, it's going to take tough people to make it. Travis, has this been tough for you?
Very tough.
Craig, has this been tough? Has it been a walk in the park yet? If you're not afraid to work hard or roll up your sleeves, there's no industry in the world that's going to pay you like this business. And there is no business in the world that can have more fun than you have here. But you got to own that responsibility that when I enrolled Dave Kohansky, what I said to him was, I'm always going to be here. You can always count on me. And that's what I asked of Dave, and that's what I asked of every single one of you when you decide to enroll somebody. Because it's getting so big that him and I can't help you with all your people. It's impossible. I'm 547 text messages behind right now. You guys have known how mad I am about that. Because I told everyone on the team publicly multiple times, I'll get back to you within 24 hours. I'm full of shit, just so you know. I am completely full of shit. I can't possibly get back to all of you within 24 hours. A complete lie. But you know what I need from you now as my partners, as our partners? I need from you to step into leadership and own your business and own your team. And own the people, not own them, but own it, like take ownership and make it your responsibility to be the leader for your group the way that he's been the leader for his group and I have, and so on and so on. That makes sense? So Shasta, thank you again. Jessica, thank you for opening up your home. We are back here again on Saturday, is that correct? Yes. We're back here again on Saturday. And on the Tuesday night, we're at Bernalin and Stephen's home right here. It is on the schedule. It's in yellow. Tuesday night in-home meeting. Click that, get the address, and come to Berlin's house, because Berlin and Stephen do a killer presentation at their house, and they've been as consistent as two human beings have ever been. Here's what I don't want you to do if you come Saturday. Don't just blend into the crowd. Well, I'm here, there's already 40 people here. Don't just blend in. Pretend like their meeting is your launch of your business and get 5, 10, 15 people there. If everyone owns it and pretends like, well, if nobody shows from my invites, there's not going to be a meeting. If you put that responsibility on your back, boom, this business can explode. Make sense? So this is just the beginning. It's going to be a process. The reason why you keep plugging in is because you can't get everything in one Saturday. Make sense?
Mike,
So, yes.
remind them that if they have guests, that we also with Rocket Day have our Monday night right up the street.
Now I want to get that on the schedule soon. So can you text
It
me?
is. It is Monday.
Right here.
Monday, 7 o'clock.
7 p.m. northwest side of town.
You can't make a meeting, send people to that meeting.
Yeah, we'll take care of it.
They'll always be taken care of. That's the power of the team. Be there. Can't send them.
That's right. So guys, thanks for coming down. Thanks, Travis.
Thank you, Travis.
Everyone doing a picture? Let's do it.
Probably if we open up these lines a little bit on that side.
Yeah, some up and some down.
What's that?
Some down. some
Or we
up.
can do it on the stairs. On the stairs.
Yeah, stairs.
On your staircase?
Yeah. Fine.
I'm not, you guys, whoever's good photography.
I'm better than Craig.
Hey, Travis,
How
how
about
about
like-
the meal?
What's that?
Everyone right here, I'm going to take a picture.
Yeah, let's do it.
Right in there.
Mike, can you do a timer? You can put it on that thing and do a timer.
Right, Stephen?
Yeah, is that good?
Hey, Michael.